Hi everyone, welcome to Aditya Birla's Health Insurance's Health from Home Weekend Special. I am Sucheta Pal, Ambassador for Super Fitness and also a wellness coach and a very new mom. And I'm very excited, that's why, for this particular session, because it is core workout for reducing belly fat. It is so important for me right now because it's just been 6 months that I've given birth to a baby boy, yes, and I had a C-sec. And obviously, once I gave birth, it took me some time to get back to my workouts, which was approximately 3 months later, around March. And I did a lot of research about, hey, you know what? Even after popping that baby out, I still have a belly. Of course, a lot of it is fat, but a lot of it is a weak core. And I realized that there are so many secrets to reduce that belly, right? To reduce that tummy. So today I'm going to reveal some secrets and take you through a fun session. And I'm sure with all of these myths that I'm about to break, I'm sure your light bulbs in your brain will go ting 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 ting. So I hope you guys will have fun with me. So first, let's break some myths, right? First and foremost, what's the core? A core is nothing but your entire torso. What is a torso? If you cut off, so if I cut off my limbs, अगर आपको किसी ने बोला कि आपके हाथ काट दो, आपके legs काट दो, जो बचेगा वो आपका torso है, वो आपका trunk of the tree है, and that is your core. So all of this is your core. It's just not your abs, yeah. So that is first for us to understand. हम सबको समझने की बहुत ज़रूरत है कि core क्या है. So this is the core. Now, how do we reduce belly fat? Secret. Belly fat, first and foremost, can be reduced 80% in the kitchen, right? So it's a lot about your diet. That is so important. बहुत लोग ऐसा सोचते हैं कि अगर हम 100 क्रंच कर ले आज तो फिर हमारे पास एक फ्लैट टमी हो जाएगा. That is a myth. Spot reduction is a myth. अगर कोई ट्रेनर आपको ऐसा बोल रहा है कि आप 100 क्रंचेस कर लो तो उससे आपका बेली फैट नहीं जाने वाला है, राइट? बेली फैट जाता है किचन में विद गुड न्यूट्रिशन एंड विद गुड डाइट. तो अगर आप उस पर ध्यान रखोगे तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहेगा, राइट? एंड ऑफ कोर्स कैलोरी लॉस. सो अगर ऑफ कोर्स आप डाइट पे ध्यान रखो लेकिन आप एक्सरसाइज भी करो साथ में, तो वो कॉम्बिनेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ताकि आपकी कैलोरी डेफिसिट हो और उससे फैट लॉस हो. अगेन, फैट लॉस डजंट हैपन कि बस मैंने अपना डाइट का ध्यान रखा तो सबसे पहले बेली से जाएगा. फॉर्चुनेटली और unfortunately, the fat doesn't choose from where it has to go. It goes from every part of your body simultaneously, right? In fact, genetically, हमारे ancestors से आया है ये कि सबसे लास्ट में एक्चुअली बेली और हिप्स रीजन में जाता है, क्योंकि जनरली क्या होता है कि केव मैन और केव वुमेन ईरा के वक्त we had to store energy, and the easiest place to store energy was right here in terms of fat. तो वो हमारे human brain को अभी तक समझ में नहीं आया कि वो primitive times चला गया है. We are in the modern times, but our body is tuned to that, our brain is tuned to that. सबसे last में इसलिए आपके belly के around और आपके hips के around fat जाता है. But the good news is that once that fat goes slowly, and trust me, it will go with proper diet, with proper nutrition. आपके पास 6-pack abs already है. Everyone is born with 6-pack abs. Yes, you heard it right. Okay, what do I mean by that? आपके टमी के ऊपर, राइट, आपका एक मेम्ब्रेन है, राइट, एंड दैट मेम्ब्रेन गोज वन लाइक दिस एंड 2 like this, and कुछ लोग are born with 3, right? Like Hrithik Roshan, I'm sure he's born with 3 because he has 8-pack abs. But generally, we have six packs. We are born with it. It's just covered by a layer of fat. So as I said, with food, once the fat goes away, you will see that automatically the ab is visible. So that's good news. You are born with abs. Now just take care of your food. Last but not the least, it's not हमारा इंटेंशन क्या होना चाहिए फॉर अ वर्कआउट, राइट? अ वर्कआउट का इंटेंशन अगर आपका है कि मुझे अपना सिक्स पैक एब्स दिखाना है या फ्लैट टमी चाहिए, तो वो बहुत एक्सटर्नल एक मोटिव है, राइट? इट्स अ वेरी एक्सटर्नल मोटिव. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू वर्क टुवर्ड्स दैट मोटिव क्योंकि वो एक लाइफ गोल नहीं है. Let me explain what do I mean. For example, I am a new mom, right? I had a C-section, not even a normal delivery, right? Where it's easier to get back to a normal flatter belly after a normal delivery, but I had a C-section, so it becomes even more tough. Now, for me, अगर मेरा motive होता कि मुझे within 6 months, within 1 year, I need a flat tummy, it's not going to happen because that is not a life goal, right? Like what will I attain? मेरे लिए life goal है कि can I pick up my baby? क्या मैं अपने बच्चे को easily उठा पाऊँ? क्या अपने shoulder पे ले पाऊँ? And going forward, can I play with my child without getting tired? Do I have that much of strength? I shouldn't have aches and pains when I'm working out. And for that, for anything in life to be fit, you need to have a lot of core strength, and that is the key, right? So for core strength, as I said, मैंने ऑलरेडी आपको समझा चुकी हूँ कि कोर क्या है. वो है ये रीजन, राइट? अगर जो भी लेट ज्वाइन कर रहा है उनके लिए मैं वापस समझा देती हूँ. अगर आप अपने लेग्स मतलब लिम्स, राइट, लेग्स एंड हैंड्स को काट दो शोल्डर से, यहाँ हिप से, तो ये एंटायर एरिया होता है योर बैक, योर चेस्ट, योर एब्स, योर पेल्विस, हिप्स, एवरीथिंग glutes, is your core. Now, around your spine, right? Around your spine, you have a muscle around the spine which is called your transverse abdominal muscles. I know, very fancy. It's like एक spine आपका pipe है, उसके around एक covering है, right? तो वो बहुत important है. उसको बहुत लोग नजरअंदाज कर देते हैं, but that is the key to being strong forever. आप strong होना चाहते हो आज नहीं, 20 पे नहीं, 30 पे नहीं, 40, till you're 70, 80, 90, you want to be independent. Now, if you want to be independent and not on a crutch and not on a wheelchair, then make the core strong, right? So, today we are going to work on the secret of flat belly, which is the core, right? Okay, so what did we discuss about everyone who came in late? What is the core? This is the core. Belly fat, first and foremost, can be reduced. Fat over your already existing abs, yes, everyone has abs, is in the kitchen. So take care of your diet. And of course, we are all born with six-pack abs. Once a layer of fat goes away, it will be visible. And now, the main thing to work upon, if you want to look visibly toned, right? You want to look strong. You want to seem like you have a flat belly. Of course, with diet, then this is the trick. Not 100 crunches, but this is the trick, right? And you will feel stronger, I promise. Now, let me explain to you how I work as a new mom, as a C-sec mom. I'm going to show you, and I'm working on it for the last 3 months, and I'm very excited to share this. And this is how to engage the core. सब बोलते हैं engage the core, engage the core, engage the core. लेकिन कैसे करते हैं? So this is what you have to do. I'm going to come a little closer, right? Now watch. Right now, I am completely engaging my core, and it seems as if my stomach is flat. But because I am a C-sec new mom, I still have a little belly going out. But if I let go of my belly, this is what it looks like, right? So my hip is out. Yeah, and this is generally why most people stand like this. Most of us stand like this, right? So our belly remains out, our hips remain out, our bum goes out, and we have such bad posture that our belly also protrudes out. Now, if you are in this, and generally we walk around like that, we don't even realize, right? This is our normal way of walking around doing our work, and then we get knee pain and especially back pain. The trick, always subconsciously think of engaging the core. This is how you're supposed to do it. Cuff. I know, cuff. muscles engage. Watch. अगर मैं यहाँ पे कर रही हूँ, I am not engaging my core, but I cuff, right? So I go. You see what happened? The moments, I do it at home, right? So right now you're all up with me, right? So when you cuff, just cuff loudly, like when you cuff, what happens? Notice your butt, right? So put one hand over here, like as if this is your tail, right? Automatically the tail starts, instead of pointing out, it goes in, right? It goes down. The tail starts pointing down, so your tailbone comes in, and immediately you find that, you know, your glutes, you've really squeezed your glutes. So you're going to squeeze your glutes and your hips become tight. Your pelvis moves forward and your abs contract from inside. So feel something contracting, the muscles around your spine going shoo, wow, wow. Or you can also imagine someone has punched you in the chest. So if you see, if I cuff, my chest also, my breastbone also drops, right? So that's amazing. It also drops. So everything becomes one compartment. ये पूरा एक strong compartment हो जाता है. I'll show you one more time. Again, letting it go. If I cuff, and I'm the perfect example, guys. Like my belly is already out. I'm not even like trying to show that my belly is out. This is literally me. But look at how it changes when I engage my core, and it was much more bigger. You know how after pregnancy, it is much more bigger right after pregnancy. This has actually gone down so much because of this workout which we do right now. Okay, so when we cuff, I squeeze everything in, I bring my chest down and I become one compartment. Or imagine someone has punched you and all the air has come out. Now, stick to this throughout the workout. Every time you forget, don't worry, just cuff and come back to it. But every time you don't have to cuff. Once you get used to it, you don't have to cuff. Okay, you will get it, so don't worry about it. Now, what we will do is we're going to get into three very interesting core engagement workouts. So what I will do is I'm going to slightly turn my camera down, and then you will be able to see me very clearly. Let's all get onto our fours, right? So we're going to get onto our knees, and then we're going to place our palms right below our shoulders, right? So you've got it right below our shoulders. Now, adjust wherever you feel comfortable. You can see me, I hope. I'm going to come a little forward so that you can see me. Perfect. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to lift one hand and the opposite knee. Watch. This is what I want you to do. So I'm lifting one hand and then the opposite knee. So if I lifted my right hand off, I lifted my left knee off the floor. But the trick is that you have to do it while engaging your core. So now, I want you to be on all your fours and then imagine the cuff. Go. Yeah. And you squeeze it in, squeeze it in, squeeze it in, and trust me, you're going to sweat. We're going to do this 5 times on one side and then the opposite, right, on the opposite side. So here we go. We're going to go right and left knee up. Again, right hand up, left knee off the floor. It looks easy, but it's not, because you can't move side to side. You have to engage the core and not shift your weight side to side. Okay, got it. Keep looking diagonally down. Again, you can breathe out. Okay, when you lift, you breathe out. I am sweating. Now try the other side. We're going to have a left hand off the floor and then left knee also off. Here we go. Weight on top of your hands and off. Watch, I'm not shifting my weight. I have to keep my weight centered, right? Here we go. Again. That's quite a workout. 4. And last one, centering it. 5. Stay. From here, we're going to extend the opposite arm and leg, right? So we're going to reach out with our right hand and reach out with our left foot and pointing our thumb to the ceiling, and then make sure that you are extending your left foot, but let it be on the floor, again engaging your core. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Together. Here we go. Engage. Make sure that you're not shifting your weight as much as you can, right? Like there'll be a slight shift, but try to engage like cuff. So when you're on your 4 position, engage and then do this move. Don't go for it. That's not the point, right? Okay, we're gonna do 4 more. I am really squeezing my glutes. And 1 more. So we're just warming up that core, right, for the next exercises. Opposite, reach up. If your range of motion, I'm a little stiff because, hey, just gave birth. So if you can increase your range of motion, please go for it. If you're a beginner, like right now I feel like a beginner, that's completely fine. But again, don't shift your weight, and we finished 5 on each side. Yes! Okay, now, this is a tough one, but you can do it. I have full faith. We're going to walk, right? We're going to get into a bear crawl. So we're going to have our knees off the floor, and we're going to walk forward and walk back. Watch. Again, I'm going to cuff. I engaged my core, lifted my knees up, and I'm going to walk forward. Watch, I'm not shifting my weight side to side. Walk forward and then walking back. If I can, you can. I want to see you guys do it with me, right? Got it? So everyone in your homes, on your 4s, and let's do this together. You're going to go 3 times with me. That's it. 3 times with me. Lifting your knees off the floor, walk. So opposite feet are going together, right? So it has to be opposite, 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 like a bear. Forward, 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 forward. Back, 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 back. Do it. Last one. Forward, 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 and a back. See, you'll be sweating like crazy. You got it. Okay, come up. Did you feel that core? Okay, now that you know how to engage your core, we're going to get into the next circuit of moves, which is very, very simple. Grab some water. I'm going to do too. How do you feel? Yeah, good? What I would love to do is teach you squat. I know. You'll be like, hey, I know how to do a squat. But trust me, I was in this, idea, and I've been doing squats for a very long time. But the moment I started to retrain my body, and there's never a time where you cannot unlearn and learn something new, right? So I learned something new. It's going to change the way you do your squats forever. And again, remember, for squats, you have to engage your core. And that means you're working here, and that means this is getting stronger, yes? And you want that toned tummy. So here we go. I'm going to show you slightly at an angle so that you can see what I am doing, right? So first and foremost, a squat, and then I'll take you through some exercises with a squat. Again, amazing core. Work out feet hip width apart, shoulder width apart, right? Whatever you want, or slightly wider, but don't keep it too close. It shouldn't be closer than hips, right? Now, everyone knows how to do a squat, so just get down. Make sure that you are pushing your bum towards the floor. When you get up, that's the trick. When you get up, push your heels against the floor, right? You all know the rules of having your back neutral, so don't curve your back, don't arch your back, keep your back neutral. And when you get up, of course you breathe out, but you push your heel into the floor to push you up. And when you come up, you engage your core, right? Okay, here we go. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart, or slightly wider shoulder width apart. That's fine. We're going to get down into a squat. When I get up, I'm going to push through my heel, and then, did you see that? I did that. Yeah, correct, right? Again. And look at how I am pushing everything. कैसे मैं साथ में सब कुछ so जकड़ लिया, ऐसा कि corset है, like you know, corset you out. It's like, you know, you're like hugging someone really strong, like yeah, almost like a karate kid, right? You can go, yeah, got it. One more time with me, right? Everyone, imagine you're not just going to get up like that, right? You're going to squeeze and go. Here we go, and push through your heels and go. I want to see that. Good. Now, try this exercise with me. This is going to be a combination of cardio, because to lose belly fat, we have to lose calories first, right? From everywhere. As I told you, belly fat, only squat reduction from the belly, it's never possible. So we have to lose calories overall. So we need to add a little bit of that cardio move, and we have to work on our core. So it's going to be a combination of a fun move called hop squat. It's like a jumping jack, and then a squat. Watch. I'm going to show you on the side. We're going to go, yeah, stand right here, feet out, so hands out, and then we're going to hop and squat. So look at this, how I came into a very close stance squat, right? Now I'm going to show you this way. We're going to go hop and squat, hop, squat. Got it? Yes, 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 perfect. So I'm going to come straight with you. I'm going to move this to the side a little bit. Okay. Are we all on it together? Did you have some water? Yes? Okay. Here we go. We're going to get into 10 of this. Super simple. But remember what we have to take care of. Engaging the core. Land light on your feet. Light, very light. So we're going to land light. Right? It's not going to be dum, yeah? ऐसा नहीं करना है आपको, और knees को बहुत ज़्यादा soft रखना है आपको, और फिर जब आप land भी करो, वापस in a squat, then you get into like a namaste and you bend down, remember? And then you push off from your heel. You're going to get into a wide stance, and then get into a squat. Again, close stance squat. I already did 3, I think. Okay guys, we're going to go 10. Ready? 5, 6, 7 and boom and squat. आप अपने पेस पे करो, कोई कंपटीशन नहीं है कि आपको जल्दी करना है, फास्ट करना है, right? But you will see the work. Yeah. And every time you go, you squeeze. I have lost count. 3 more. एक दो एक्स्ट्रा भी कर लेंगे तो कोई बात नहीं, right? So good job. That was 10. Simple. That's good. You got your heart rate pumping. Now the main work. आपको क्या करना है? आपको एक स्क्वाट करना है, और फिर स्क्वाट वॉक करना है, और फिर आपको खड़े होना है with that core engagement. Watch. So, yes, you put up your pants and get ready for this. We're going to go squat, walk, walk, walk. That's work. That's a lot of work. Yes, okay, got it. So, I definitely need space for this. Hope you have space at your home. Try this once with me, ठीक है? आप एक बार मेरे साथ try करो, but again, the point is not the squat. The point is, are you engaging the core? Squat automatically होगा, okay? So here you go, right here, squat. Now, when you squat, make sure that your knees are exactly on top of your toes. They are not coming in. ये अंदर नहीं आ रहा है और बाहर भी नहीं जा रहा है. It's exactly in alignment. Keeping that alignment, try to sit as low as you can. This is my range of motion. Your range of motion, Yeah, engaging your core. Move from the side of your thighs. Walk, keeping the same distance as there's an elastic band here. And when you come up, yeah, and you feel the work. Watch. Again, reminder, when you come up, you just don't stand up, right? You, yeah, I want to see that movement. How many should we do? Are you putting it there? Okay, let's do it 5 rounds. 5 rounds. That is 1 round. 1, 2, 1 round. 5 rounds like that. Here we go. Let's go. Squat. Walk. Walk. Same distance. Walk. Squat. There's no hurry. The point is not कि आपने कितना squats किया, right? Watch. I am not doing this. I am not going up and down, right? Don't do that. Squat. The trick is keep the same height, same distance, same distance. And then squeeze that core. Imagine if someone has tied a kapra around your tummy, right? बोलते हैं ना हमारे grandmoms after pregnancy tie a sari. You don't have to be pregnant to imagine that, but imagine someone has tied a rope around your tummy. So when you come up, you will feel the work, right? Again. If I can, after 6 months of giving birth, you can. Go for it. Okay. I'm going to increase my range of motion. I'm going to push myself for the last 2 rounds. I didn't count. Okay, so last 2 rounds. Here we go. Yeah. That is pushing for me. Maybe going down more is pushing for you. Push it. It's for you. No one else. You want to have a flatter tummy, right? And one more time. Did we finish it? I think so. Okay, I'm so bad. I don't believe in counting. I believe in, hey, how am I feeling when I am working out? Yay! Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, for the last bit, again, we work on our core, but we're going to work on our core a little bit more with a cardio move, which is going to be a crisscross jumping jack and a jab, jab, a punch, right? Watch. We're going to go, hands right here, crisscross, crisscross, jab, jab. So, when I do a crisscross jumping jack, very light on my feet, engaging my core. I see, watch. This is also jumping jack. This is also jumping jack. You want a flatter tummy, reduce that belly fat. This has to work. Okay, you have to work on the muscles inside. Got it? Okay. If you have joined in late, remember, core workout is the key to a strong ab. Core is just not your abs, it's all of this. But because we only focus on having that belly fat go and the abs showing, that's why I'm saying if you want flat abs, focus on the entire core. If you want flat abs, if you want a flatter belly, you want a belly fat to go to the kitchen, have good food. But remember, food, exercise go together, and external motivation of having a flat tummy is not going to take you long term. But if you have motivation, hey, what do I want out of my life? I want to have a good, healthy life, strong body, then core workout is for you, right? So this is going to be amazing. So when we do jumping jacks, squeeze that core, and when we twist, watch, I twist from my hips, I'm squeezing my glutes, I work on my obliques, right? And I twist my ankles, got it? I turn my feet, very swinkle, I turn, like frack. And I hold my core tight the whole way. Look at me sweating, dekho. Aapko bhi sweat karna hai, hum saath mein 10 round karenge. Here we go, we're gonna go. Crisscross, crisscross, punch, punch. Crisscross, crisscross, punch, punch. Crisscross, crisscross, punch, punch. Are you counting? You know I will count. But I'm counting now. That's 5, and I feel it. बीच में अगर आप भूल गए अरे यार कोर को नहीं engage किया, कर लो. You know how to do it. Like rock solid. And I stop counting. How many guys? Okay, I think we have one more. Yeah. This is just such a beautiful circuit. इस लाइफ के बाद आप वापस जाके ये पूरा राउंड कर सकते हो पूरा. Okay? You don't have to wait for me to guide you. It's super simple. आपने सबने सीख लिया कैसे करना है, ठीक है? हमारे पास टाइम है तो मैं एक और मूव करना चाहती हूँ. और इसके लिए you don't have to get on your mat on the floor. Standing crunches, super simple. You can simply lift your knee, yeah, and place your arms behind your ears, behind your head. Either you can do this or you can crunch opposite elbow and knee. What I like to do is, of course, knee up, but also मुझे obliques पे काम करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. So we're going to also do a cross knee up. Ready? Super simple. Knee up, cross, cross. Knee up, cross, cross. Knee up, cross, cross. Knee up, cross, cross. You can go boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you can make it faster. Go, 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 go. Good job. Or like me, you can go slow, slow. You're going to go 2 more. 1 more. Yes. If you feel like you're a beginner like me, like after pregnancy, I feel like I'm going back to being a beginner. I love it. Okay, मैं अपने आप पे वापस काम कर सकती हूँ. Then this is the pace that you can go for. And don't worry. All you require to get that strong core is patience, endurance, to keep at it, and sincerity to follow a proper core workout. So please guys, you don't need to do any crunches to get flat abs, but focus on your core workout. Now, as we did our warming up of the core, and also we did a lot of workout, we got a little bit of get into a stretch. Very, very important. I'm going to get onto my mat and again on all fours, and we're going to just get into simple cat and camel, right? 5 times. Now, to get into a cat and camel, make sure that your weight is in the center of your body, so it's centered. और आपका जो weight है hands का, shoulders का, वो hands पे, ठीक है? So you're right here. Now you're going to just push your palms into the floor and curve your back and push, 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 push. Make a hollow right here. And now I am not like I have a lot of aches and pains still. As I said, I'm a 6-month C-sec mom. But now when you arch your back, if you can go more, nothing like it, right? So you don't have to go according to me, but if you can go more. But the point is, lift your chest up and feel the stretch in the back. Again, push and stretch. Push and stretch. Push and stretch. Push and stretch. So I'm slowly getting my stretches in and my flexibility in. So I'm hoping that I should get it very, very soon as I'm working on myself, just like you. So now we're going to stretch. If you can sit like this, great. Otherwise, you can stand up. We're going to stretch our shoulders a little bit. So bring it across your chest, your hands. Shoulders drop down. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Breathe. I hope आप सबको कुछ myths का जो truth है वो समझ में आए, क्योंकि बहुत सारे myths है around losing belly fat. बहुत लोग आपको green tea बेचने की कोशिश करेंगे जिससे फैट लॉस होगा बेली में, प्लीज डोंट बाय दैट, ऐसा पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। कोई साइंस आज तक ऐसा क्रिएट नहीं हुआ है जो ग्रीन टी से आपका बेली फैट हो। अगर कोई बोलेगा कि मैं आपको सॉरी वी डिड दैट राइट, लेट्स स्ट्रेच आवर बाइसेप्स, कि हम आपको 100 क्रंचेस कराएंगे, आपका बेली फैट लॉस हो जाएगा। दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, राइट? इट्स जस्ट नॉट पॉसिबल. Remember the most important thing, so if you are sitting down you can get up. The most important thing, so we're going to turn and we're going to stretch our hamstrings, is that you educate yourself and understand कि अगर आपको लॉन्ग टर्म कोई भी रिजल्ट चाहिए तो आप कितना भी वर्कआउट कर लो, लेकिन आप अपने कोर को स्ट्रांग नहीं बनाओगे तो बेली छोड़ो, आपकी जो डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज है, चाहे यू हैव टू स्क्वाट डाउन टू गेट फ्रिज के सबसे नीचे वाले रैक से सब्जी, वो नहीं कर पाओगे विदाउट 2 hours to carry your baby on your shoulder, because that requires a lot of core strength, you know, transfers abdominals around your spine, that is required, that strength is required to just carry your baby. Not possible. So the main thing is to focus on what is important, right? Which is of course your core. The last stretch, open up our chest, breathe, 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 and we're going to pull and make sure that we stretch our back. Very important. Okay, so if you want, you can go on the back of a wall and you can pull up one of the knee up towards your chest, which will stretch your glutes. Yeah, if you want you can take support, no problem, keep going, and then you can change to the other side. If you feel comfortable you can do this, and lastly we're going to stretch our quads. So if you want you can have support of course, and then you can stretch the front of your thighs and keep going. I'm going to show it to you, and then if you want you can take support and then stretch. So press your glutes in. When you're doing it, press your glutes in and you'll feel a greater stretch, and that's good to take support at that time. I really hope कि आपको आदित्य बिरला हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस का हेल्थ फ्रॉम होम वीकेंड स्पेशल ये वाला वर्कआउट पसंद आया. आई होप आपके बहुत सारे अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो गया होगा अभी अबाउट हैविंग अ स्ट्रॉन्ग कोर फॉर गुड फ्लैट belly, and hoping that you will keep enjoying every Saturday these workout sessions. Enjoy. Thank you. This is Sucheta Pal signing off.
Hello everyone and welcome to Aditya Birla Health Insurance's Health from Home series Weekend Specials with me, Dr. Aditi Govitrikar. Now, every parent is serious and sensitive when it comes to their child's education. But again, health is something they won't stake at any cost, right? Hence, in the light of the pandemic, the need of school from home or online schooling has emerged. What is this online schooling? Is it as effective as sending your little one to school? What are some important points that parents need to keep in mind? Let me help you today with some guidelines or some guidance on how you can tackle the stress of online schooling that both you and your child are going through during the current times. The object of homeschooling full time via virtual education is to make sure that students don't fall behind in their academics during the pandemic. Unfortunately, we do not have similar experiences from the past to draw lessons from. Coming up with effective solutions to address all the challenges is truly complex. It's unfortunate, but children have temporarily stuck to their homes and to their screens, like all of us. Now, while Maharashtra has banned online classes from pre primary to class 2, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh have extended the ban till class 5. Challenges like using devices that belong to the parents or someone else in the family, poor connectivity, limited data package, to attend all classes online, or lack of access to proper or personal digital technology are depriving many children of education during the pandemic. Along with mainstream schooling, taking private tuitions is a norm. Now, combining these two, the children are subjected to a minimum screen time of 5 hours a day and maximum up to 10 hours a day. Now it's obvious that students are going to find it tedious, they are going to get exhausted. But then, if we don't continue this form of education, which is online schooling, it will halt progress and academic development of children. So stay tuned in and find out all about online schooling and how to tackle the problems you are facing. Generally, if you see that the attention span of a child cannot be more than 45 minutes. Impact of virtual education on kids is frequent headaches, eye related problems and back pain. In fact, many students have also reported developing hearing problems and neck and shoulder pain. They The other problem is that they don't have their peers around them and are sort of learning by themselves. The teacher's role is limited. Children do not get the kind of supervision that they would in a classroom. And of course, I mean, if the parents are working, or even if you're at home, even if you're working from home, it is difficult for a parent to supervise online learning throughout. All this may cause mental pressure, and this may lead to feelings of hopelessness and depression in children. Plus, the parents get stressed out and it might lead to difficulties in the interpersonal relationships. Now, what does one do then? The simplest and the easiest thing to do is that you have to schedule in regular snack time, regular bathroom and physical breaks, which I will talk about a bit later. Make sure that you visit the child every now and then between lectures or during the recesses and talk to him or her for maybe a minute or two. Also, encourage the child to look outside the window, to look at trees, to look at greens, or at the sky, or just to take walk around the room every once in a while. That will make a big difference to the child's physical as well as mental health. Now, online education gives a little more flexibility to a child's schedule, but it's also at the cost of proper structure that they would enjoy when they go to school. Parents have to go through lot more stress, obviously, because they have to handle the child, they have to supervise the child 24/7, as opposed to when the children are in actual school, where they spend a fair amount of time. But look at the upside. The upside to this is that this situation ensures that the child will become self-reliant and independent at an earlier age. Now, how so? This is because if you inculcate the habit of allowing the child to plan his or her day, of course, initially under your guidance and then independently, they are able to schedule in everything that they need to do, including their online schooling by themselves. If they deal with this situation well, it is also teaching them resilience to uncertainties and challenges in the future. Now, if you look at life per se, life, there is no certainty. So this is not something that is so uncertain, because yes, I agree that there is a new enemy out there and that we need to deal with it, but uncertainty is way of life. And if you look at life like that, the children will learn from you. So it will make them mentally stronger and more prone to keeping their mental health at a top level and in check. So given the way things are moving, a lot of things are moving to be virtually. And education, a big chunk of it is going to be virtual as well. So you have to encourage them to participate in how life is turning out to be. So make sure that you encourage them every single day. There will be adjustment issues, of course, once the regular school opens, because now they're used to attending classes, sitting at home, in the comfort of their room, and then suddenly they'll have to adjust to going back to normal schooling. But remember that children are resilient and they adapt very quickly. And get them to be prepared with this. Tell them that normal school will resume at some time in the future. So this is just a stopgap way of how you're learning and how you're acquiring knowledge, and they will understand. Now, every coin has two sides. In the same way, online schooling has pros and cons, and we've all experienced it, right? So one positive that I see with my son is that he has a chance to concentrate a lot better at being at home, because there's no distraction per se, because he's doing it from the comfort of his own home, and there is fair amount of flexibility which he enjoys. Another thing which is very important to factor in is there is no traveling to school, so that time is being saved. How about using that time for assignments or maybe some other activities? Then many schools are also giving an opportunity to revisit lectures and notes even after the school, and this can be very beneficial for the child because they can revisit the lecture and hear it all over again. So it makes learning and acquiring knowledge a little more easier. Now, of course, there are negatives to online learning, like it is very isolating. There is no interactiveness with the other children, with the teacher. That can mean that the child might feel very lonely. Yeah. Consistently exposing the child to a screen, of course, it's going to hamper with their overall development, because ultimately watching a screen is a passive activity, and that can make children lethargic and it can affect their thinking skills. Now, this ultimately may lead to a lot of behavioral problems. So that is something that we as parents definitely need to keep a watch out for. Does the online schooling affect mental, physical, and emotional growth? So what we need to look at, taking a step behind, is one step back and see is that society plays a major role in a child's development. Children learn through mimicry and observation. When children do not interact with the society, they lack this connection to understand others, which is empathy basically. Their ability to explore and apply problem-solving skills, which happen in a classroom setup. Like they are, with each other and they're solving problems. Now, what this will do is that it will lead to self-doubt. It can lead to dependency. Isolation and loneliness, as one is seeing, is on a high, and mental and emotional growth is getting widely affected. Now, because schools are closed and because of the whole situation, some children lock themselves in their rooms for weeks. They're refusing to shower, they're refusing to eat on time, they're not sleeping on time. It can lead, and you might witness it, that many children are feeling frustrated and short tempered. Now, with disruptive families, with children who have special needs, this is even more difficult, right? Now, what can one do? Very, very important is to supervise your child. Inclusion in daily home care and family time. In addition, they must have their set personal time for themselves. Very, very crucial. So include them in activities that one performs in the house. Give them, they become responsible for household chores. That this is your task, they got to do it. So include them. You can help them. It can become a fun activity. And of course, being isolated from classmates and outside environment affects children. And it is a bit stressful, but you need to reassure the child that this is fine, that things are going to change, and allow them to vent every single time that they feel overwhelmed. If the child comes to you and says, oh, I'm not feeling good, or I'm feeling anxious, allow the child to express her feelings to you without judging or without giving advice to say, everything is going to be all right. Just hear them out. Just hearing them out will allow them to feel a lot better. So make this a pattern, make this a routine, and this will help you even when the pandemic is over. Now, meditation. I've always been talking about meditation, but inculcating the habit of meditation in a child, it's very, very important. So the child can even do it for just for 5 minutes every single day, because they're spending so much time on screen, with the screen, they're exposed to it all the time, that being away from it and just analyzing what they're feeling is something that many children are not right now. They're not even used to it. They don't know how it is to be without the screen. So make sure that meditation is part of their daily routine, because this is crucial for their resilience. It is crucial for their emotional wellness, which is neglected right now. And remember that children learn by watching your actions. So if you are not meditating and you're merely telling your child to meditate, it is not going to help. So you got to inculcate that habit not only in your child but in yourself as well. And if you are dealing with this situation in a positive light, the children will do so. If you are anxious, then the child will end up feeling it. And even if you say that, oh, everything is fine, but within you you're feeling anxious, it will affect the child immediately and directly. So be careful about saying one thing and doing one thing, or feeling one thing and saying one thing. So be wary of that. Guard yourself, because the child is learning from you directly. Yeah. Keep communication channels open. No matter whatever the child is going through, be it his emotions, be it his feelings, you need to provide that safe space for your child to share what she's feeling. So whatever's happening in school, with the online classes, they can discuss that every single day with you. That can be very, very helpful. I'm also aware that a lot of parents are worried about online exams and assessments. Now, like I said earlier, that this is a very different kind of scenario, and we don't have anything to fall back on. And many schools and many colleges are adopting different forms of assessment. So they've shifted from their regular, typical routine of how they conduct examinations and tests to a new routine. Like many have now started, instead of weekly assessments, they have shifted to bi-monthly exam. Or some schools are even conducting end of the semester exam, and not doing any tests in between. Something called as open book examination now has started becoming a norm, because many schools don't have a way to assess or to ensure that there is no cheating, right? So open book exams is becoming a new norm. Now, education guidelines are also currently considering a one-off end semester assessment instead of these weekly and monthly weekly exams, right? But like I said, that each school has a different outlook towards exams. So be in touch with your principal or your teachers, and analyze as to what is the best way forward. Now, whatever the exam pattern is, make sure that your child understands what the pattern is, what is being asked of them. Help them to adhere to the guidelines, and you plan the schedule with your child to say that, okay, this is the exam, this is a format, how are we going to work through this whole thing? Because your help, your guidance, your supervision will help the child go a long way. Many mothers and fathers complain that the children are very distracted during online classes, and how should we avoid that? One thing which can be part of the routine, and it is a strict rule, which is that during school hours, that is when the child is sitting in front of the screen and attending the class, at that time there will be no cell phones. Cell phones will be deposited with you during school hours, because imagine just being on screen is causing so much of fatigue, so much of tiredness. Many students are looking at their social media whilst being on screen, because there is nobody to it's not like real school, right, where the teacher, I mean, in schools obviously the cell phones are banned. Over here they are then spending their time on two screens, which is not good for their well-being at all. So very strict rule that cell phones will not be allowed during school hours. Now, another important point is to turn off notifications on whatever device the child is attending the school on, because that can be very distracting. Block social media strategically. So browsing social media can be a reward. For example, if the child puts in 2 hours of studying, then he's allowed to scroll maybe for 15 to 20 minutes. That can be very useful. How about setting up a special learning corner for the child? So that becomes like a special thing for the child, that, oh, this is my special corner, this is where I sit and study. So set up a consistent place and a consistent time for the child in your home to study. Very crucial that hangry is something that the child doesn't go through. So it is a real emotion where, because of hunger, the child can feel angry, can feel frustrated. So make sure that the child's diet is taken care of. So whenever there is a mid break, like a recess, a short recess and a long recess, make sure that the child is given proper food. I'll talk about breakfast a little later. However, the short recess, the child can have a fruit, and make sure that the child remains hydrated. In the house environment, in this home situation, when the school is going on, make sure that there is silence, because one gets distracted with the sounds. So when the child is attending school, make sure that there is peace and quiet so that the child can concentrate on what is happening. Frequent breaks are very crucial. So after every lecture, the child should stand up and stretch. She can just twist or just walk around the house. That physical break is very crucial. Now, what is the stress that the child goes through with the online classes, and how can we tackle it? When the child is undergoing stress, the parent might, and this is something that you can keep an eye on, that there will be some signs, there will be some behavioral changes in the child. So the child might argue excessively, there might be refusals, there might be opposition, there will be defiance, there will be withdrawal, something which is out of character, something that is not usual for your child, it is out of character, right? Now if you keep an eye, and if you see these changes, then you need to analyze why is it that there is a change in the behavior. There is something that is bothering the child, so speak to the child, because they have to get used to this new way of learning, but at the same time it need not be at the cost of their emotional or physical well-being. So you have to learn to be patient with them, give them space, allow them to vent, allow them to share what is going on with them. Routines and schedules are very crucial for a child. So make sure that there is a routine for your child, that there is a schedule where there is fun and there's pleasure along with studies. So it's not only study, 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 but there are fun activities as well. Let them interact with their friends via video chats. In the given situation, video chats are the closest thing to seeing somebody in person. So make sure, in fact, you should ensure that the child is having frequent video chats with his or her friends. Now, one thing which is there is that we always complain that we don't have adequate time with our child. Now, this is a gift. How about using this time to bond with your child? So imagine that you're planning everything with the child, you're ensuring that there is enough and more activities that are planned, which the child likes to do. You're participating in doing a lot of homework, whether it's school homework or whether it is housework. So these kind of shared activities will strengthen your bond with the child. One crucial thing which I have always said is sleep. We neglect sleep. The child in today's time is not getting adequate sleep because, again, they are spending so much time on the screen. Now what happens is that screens emanate blue light. The effect of blue light on our psyche or our physiology is that it affects melatonin production. Now the importance of melatonin production is that it regulates your sleep pattern. Now when that is getting hampered or that is getting affected, your sleep time can get pushed, which again means that not only the quantity of sleep but the quality of sleep also gets affected. Now, not getting adequate sleep is not going to help the child, because most of the schools even today start early in the morning. They start at 7:30, 8:30, right? Now, if the child is not sleeping properly, is not getting adequate sleep, he or she is not going to be able to concentrate. In addition, emotional regulation, which is an important role which adequate sleep plays in, is hampered. So again, emotions will be all over the place. Then when we say that, oh, the child is cranky or is throwing tantrums, is it because he's not getting enough sleep? So what are the other ways that you can assist your child in making this pandemic not such a negative experience for him? Because ultimately, if you realize going forward, we are going to talk about this lockdown for years to come. It is perhaps creating memories in our lives which are one of its kinds, because like I said, that this is a very unusual time in all our lives, and we are cooped up, we are at home, we are all working from home. Many parents I know, because of the stress of working from home and handling the housework, has gotten to them, and that is getting spilled over to the child. So again, your health, your mental and physical health is paramount if your child, if you want your child to emerge victorious through this situation. So what are the other ways, like I mentioned, of participating in making this online schooling a better experience for your child is to look at whatever's being taught in the school every single day. And it does not take too long. It takes around 5 minutes to figure out what's happening. So if you look at the agenda of the day of whatever the child is doing and there is some assignment or some homework, what you could do is you could join the child and you could do the work together. So it need not be that you're spoon feeding the child, but you can sit side by side. You could perhaps do your own work, and the child can do his or her assignments. And if there is any question, if the child has not understood the concept, then it becomes easy for the child to ask you directly. So that again, the interaction part is a very uh, beautiful time. It creates beautiful memories because there are some things which you might not know, and together you can find out about it. And that way even the child knows that it's okay not to know, because it is well known that Indian parents are quite pushy and they want the perfect child or a superhuman child. uh, you acknowledging that you don't know a concept or you don't know about it, but you're willing to learn with the child, is a very big life lesson. So there are many such life lessons which you can incorporate in your daily living with your child. And when the child sees that, you know what, my mother doesn't know everything, and that's okay, I don't need to know everything, as long as I have the curiosity to find out the answers and then go ahead and discuss those, because there are many things which can be uh, which the child might wonder. To give you an example, if the child is learning about gravity, so if gravity is a norm and it is applied to all of us, how does a rocket take off against the gravitational force, or how does a plane take off against the gravitational force? This concept can be discussed. What is required for you to take off? Because there are many things that, children have very fertile imagination. So if you can stoke that, you can light that, that can give rise to so many beautiful things. And who knows what the child might come up with. Another thing is, whilst cooking, you can incorporate physics and chemistry in it. uh, Now, the beauty of this pandemic situation is that you can teach the child, and don't make it a tedious task to say that every single sentence that you're speaking to the child is about teaching him or educating him. But it's very interesting. For example, if banana cake or banana bread, which is a very common thing that everybody is baking today, you can show the baking soda or baking powder and you can put lime on it and see what happens. What is that chemical reaction? Why does it react the way it does? And that becomes a learning lesson, and you can just look at the child and say, let's find out. I also don't know. If you don't know, that is, say, this is very interesting, let's find out. Or you can take salt solution into uh, two glasses and then discuss the density and the volume and what is the difference. So these kind of things, these kind of experiments can can really improve the child's knowledge and the interest. Because being being online in the class, it might be difficult for the child to understand a few concepts. When you're in class, when you're in class, it's a very different thing, as opposed to being, it's almost like it's a two-dimensional learning as opposed to being in class. So including these kind of conversations, making it a lot more interesting for the child, will improve his knowledge and he will perform better in school. Like, you can decide that one day is a Hindi day. Suppose a child has Hindi in school, that is, you make Monday, for example, a Hindi day where everybody speaks in Hindi with each other. That will improve his Hindi, his speaking skills. Another way is to learn a new word every single day. So on one of the boards, if you have a board, if not, you can place a book or something like that in a common area, and you can write the word of the day with the meaning, and you use that word every now and then. Uh, that will improve his vocabulary. You could even include a Marathi word or a Hindi word or any language that the child is learning, for example, French or Spanish. You can do that. Again, a very interesting way of learning. Where history is concerned, whatever the child is learning in class, you take up that person or that war or the battle or whatever the incident is, and you discuss it on the weekends. That what was it? and everybody reads it differently, right? Like what I read from a book or online and what I gain will be very different from what the child will come up with. And then there can be discussions on the dining table whilst you're eating. Very, very novel ways that you can include in teaching your child and learning yourself. It can be a really enriching experience. So go ahead and enjoy these experiences. And remember, I'm repeating again, that your mental and physical health is of paramount importance for the child to learn from you, which is called modeling, so to say, because the child learns by watching what you're doing through your actions. So go ahead and take care of yourself and your mental and physical well-being, and then equip your child to do the same for himself or herself. 2 hours before bedtime, there should be no screen at all. That will really protect your child. He will get good quality of sleep. So just make sure that 2 hours there should be no screen time at all. Another point is about talking about feelings. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier as well, but allow the child to express whatever he or she is feeling, and you can start. You can share how your day is going or how you are feeling at that point, and discuss it with the child. Discussing openly will help the child that the sense of security. It will help him with feeling very positive. It will also help build empathy and compassion. One worry in a lot of parents' mind is about the eye health. Now, sitting in front of the screen for so long, like I shared with you, 5 to 10 hours a day, can definitely affect your eye health, isn't it? What one could do is to make sure that the monitor settings are such that the brightness of the screen from the device it matches the surroundings, and check for the glare on the screen. Too much of screen time and excessive near vision work can cause dry eyes and screen fatigue. So dry eyes, which it pretty much means that your eye, the fluid which covers your eye, it gets dried up because of constant looking at the screen and because of the distance. So the way to avoid it is to keep blinking every now and then. Make sure that you tell the child that he or she needs to blink every now and then when they're watching the screen or when they're reading. Another trick to avoid this or to maintain eye health is to look away from the screen every now and then. So the child can look away at the trees or at the sky. That will definitely help the child's eye health. Now, a good formula to follow is the 20-20-20 formula, which is that after every 20 minutes of looking at the screen, you take a break for 20 seconds by looking at something which is 20 feet away. So your muscles of the eyes get exercised. Because you're concentrating here, there is some set of eye muscle which is being used, and when you look away, there is another set of muscles. It also gives a break to your eyes, and looking into nature is always beneficial. Then other than your online schooling that the child is attending, if the child is reading, then ensure that the child is reading real books. So that will give a break for the eyes. Yeah, because there is no glare with regular books. And you can also engage them in good old indoor board games, taking you back to your childhood, which was Ludo, Snakes and Ladder, Chess, Monopoly. So these games will also help the child being away from the screen, because the time that the child is attending the school, of course he has to be on screen, but otherwise you can take away his screen time by indulging into these kind of activities. Also make sure that the screen is 18 to 24 inches away from your child. So when you are setting up the study corner or the school corner, make sure that these few things are taken care of. Another issue is of posture, because screening or reading materials If they are placed at an angle which is not correct, then your spine will take the brunt. It will face the brunt. So make sure that the screens or reading material is placed directly in front of them at about an arm's length and at eye level. Very, very crucial that it should be at the eye level. So the child is not hunching or is not overstretching the spine, which can affect the spinal health or can give rise to a bad posture. Also, after every 15 to 20 minutes, the child should switch their position. The child can stretch, can stand up and stretch, or just twist in the chair, or just raise the toes or the heels. Teach them all these small tricks and tell them to do this every once in a while, after every 20 minutes. Now, if the child wants to work lying down on their stomach or kneeling on the floor at a coffee table or shifting on the floor and leaning against the wall, it's okay. That's fine. It gives a good break for your body, to their bodies. They can also sit cross-legged on the floor, because sitting down on the floor with cross-legged is a habit which most of the people nowadays don't have, and it is very beneficial. So they can do that as well. They can sit on the floor and in Padmasana if possible. So make stretching, bending, touching their toes, or touching the sky, make it into a routine. While attending the class, if you have a yoga ball, for example, at home, or the medical ball or medicine ball, then the kids can sit on that and maybe attend a class or two. So that can be very beneficial as well for their posture, for their eyes. So inculcate these habits in the child's routine. I had promised you earlier that I will talk about breakfast. So what are the good options for healthy breakfast? Now, this should be applied not only in pandemic right now, but throughout the child's life. Because ultimately breakfast is a meal that the child is having after maybe 8-9 hours of fasting. So make sure that it is extremely healthy. The best breakfast that you can give a child before the class or the school starts is fruits, nuts, oats, porridge. If you can even give eggs if you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian. So a good omelette with veggies. The child likes that. Yogurt, granola, smoothies. All these are very good for the child for breakfast. Avoid refined sugar or packaged food. So if you're vegetarian and if you make fermented foods such as idli or dosa, that is good as well. So that's a great way to start the day, with a bowl of fruits, maybe sprinkled with nuts. That's the best way that you can start the day. Some parents ask that is it okay to give milk, especially if they have a physical training class. Should we give milk? Now, the point to remember here is that yes, milk is a natural product and it has a lot of protein, carbohydrates, calcium and fat that is helpful for the body, and it provides energy during the workout. There should be a gap of at least hour and a half before they have their milk, because as you know, I'm sure a lot of you must have experienced that if you consume liquids just before any physical activity, it can give rise to tummy ache. So if your child has a class, then make sure that the child consumes milk 1.5 hours prior. If the child is feeling hungry, then banana is the best bet, or maybe a fistful of nuts. That's also a very good energy booster. One trick which is very helpful, especially during this time, is putting up these small placards or maybe post-its with statements like breathe, or take a break, or do your best. These tapes or these post-its, you can stick them in your child's room or anywhere in the house, maybe on the bathroom mirror. They are like pick-me-ups, they immediately change your mood. And for a child, if you can tell the child to make them as colorful as it can be, that definitely helps the child, makes him feel special. So You can do these kind of reminders which will boost the positivity in the house. It will help you bond with your child, because ultimately that is what we want. We want the child to be positive. We want our child to be healthy, happy, be it physically or mentally. So take care of their physical health and their mental health. And remember, ultimately, the kids follow and go with the parents' flow. So if you as parent are anxious and stressed, the kids are bound to be anxious and stressed. So even if you're saying one thing, and within you, if you're feeling all panicky and stressed out, then the child is going to feel it, and then the child will start feeling stressed out. So make sure that you're also looking after your own mental health and physical health. If you feel calm and in control, automatically the child will start feeling calm and in control. So be wary, guard yourself, so that you are better equipped to take care of your child's mental as well as physical health. Another important point is to remain in touch with your child's teacher, because again, even for teachers, it is an unusual circumstance, right? Many teachers have never taught on online platforms, so for them as well it is a learning process. By now, of course, everybody has become adept to teaching online, so make sure that you are sharing whatever it is that the child is going through, or whatever is happening in the school. Schedule in a meeting with your child's classroom teacher or class teacher regularly. That will help you connect with the teacher, because what has happened is, in this pandemic, most children have started a new year, which means that the teachers have also changed. There is no parent teachers meetings happening. Then it becomes crucial for you to know who your child's teacher is. So if you can schedule in an e-meet with all the teachers, and if that's not possible, maybe with the class teacher, regularly, it will help you know how your child is progressing, whether he is keeping up, he is on par with what is being taught, whether he's understanding what is happening. That will help the child. That will also it will also it will also ensure that the child is on track with the education that the school has planned for the child for that grade. One thing which one can do is that you could plan study hours with the friends, but that has to be done when you can supervise it, because if you have time and you can schedule in that study hour with a couple of the child's friends, that becomes a very interesting activity. To give you an example, today you plan for a study hour with two of his friends at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So you plan the study hour today, so you've informed the parents, you've informed the children, and you can even pre-plan the activity. So for example, if today there is some topic which has been taught in a bio class, you take that topic, which also means that you will have to study and you will have to prepare. So you prepare that topic and you tell the children to prepare the topic as well, and then you do a discussion. Interestingly, there are many videos which are available now on many topics. So you could even have a video which you can show the children, and you can then continue the discussion on that topic based on what you've seen in the video, because that will again get the children to think laterally, to think parallelly, and it doesn't become rote learning, because rote learning is something that you have to guard your child against. They have to become knowledgeable. Education is important, but knowledge is even more important. So when you do these kind of discussions, that will help the child, and because you are including his or her friends, that makes the children very happy. They like it a lot. That has been my experience, not only with my own children, but also with my clients who I work with. So plan this activity once a week, if not more. You can schedule in the time, and you can give a little bit of pre-work to the children, and then the discussion becomes very interesting, and many concepts then come out of it. So one thing leads to the other, and then you can also ask the mother of the other child to do the same. The beauty of this kind of learning is that many subjects can get covered. So sure, your child might be attending online tuitions. I know many parents are doing that, but exchanging ideas and building up on those ideas will really reinforce whatever the child is learning in the class. So try and use this. This can be a very big, it can be a huge help, big help to how your child is learning, to what he's learning. So you take up this initiative, ask the child to include 2 of her friends in the study group, and start doing this. And in vacation, you can continue with this, because I know that during vacation, again, then the parents are wondering what can be done with the child. Or on weekends, for example, you could take up a book. You could the Little Prince, for example, you could take up Little Prince, and you can discuss what it is all about. That will also inculcate the habit of reading in the child's daily routine. So that is a very important trick or technique or activity that you can practice, and you can get the child to learn. Having said that, this conversation was brought to you by Aditya Birla Health Insurance's Health from Home series Weekend Specials. Do share with me what your takeaways were. If you have any other tricks or techniques that can help all the parents to deal with the situation that we are facing right now, please do share. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Having said that, thank you very much for being part of this conversation. This is Dr. Aditi Govitrikar for Aditya Birla Health Insurance's Health from Home series Weekend Special. Bye-bye.
The family. Hi guys, good morning. My name is Chef Neha and I welcome you all to Aditya Birla Insurance's Health from Home Weekend Special. वैसे weekend is a time where the family comes together, we all get to eat delicious meals together, and especially बच्चों के साथ it's very hard to decide कि उन्हें healthy plus tasty खाना कैसे खिलाया जाए. काफ़ी नाटक होते हैं बच्चों के, they're very fussy, उन्हें कोई चीज़ें पसंद नहीं है. बट what if अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ कि आज की जो हमारी 2 रेसिपीज़ हैं वो ऐसी रेसिपीज़ हैं जो बच्चों को बहुत पसंद है. इट्स देयर फेवरेट. इट्स अ हेल्दी सुपर डिलिशियस मफिन. बच्चों को केक बहुत पसंद होता है. सो हाउ अबाउट अ बनाना ब्रेकफास्ट मफिन. वी आर गोइंग टू बी मेकिंग दिस विथ 100% होल व्हीट. इसके अंदर कोई भी मैदा नहीं डालेंगे हम. साथ ही साथ देयर इज लॉट्स ऑफ बनाना, वॉलनट एंड अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ ओट्स एज वेल. एंड जो हमारी सेकेंड रेसिपी है, इसकी सबसे खास बात ये है, इट्स एन एनर्जी बॉल. यानी कि व्हेनेवर द किड्स आर ट्रैवलिंग या फिर वो खेलने जा रहे हैं, यू आर ऑलवेज वरीड कि उन्होंने खाना सही से खाया है नहीं खाया है. दैट इज़ वाई द सेकेंड रेसिपी is made with chocolate. So it's a chocolate nut energy truffle ball. यानी कि there is chocolate because kids love chocolate. At the same time इसके अंदर बहुत सारे nuts हैं, dates हैं, and that is what makes it perfect. तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं आज की पहली रेसिपी की। सबसे पहले जो हमारी ब्रेकफास्ट बनाना मफिन्स है वो बना लेते हैं, क्योंकि उसे बेक होने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा। एंड जब तक वो बेक होंगे तब तक जो हमारे ट्रफल बॉल्स है, जो एनर्जी बॉल्स हैं, वो बना लेंगे हम।
So the first thing you need is a bowl. On this bowl, I'm going to keep a sieve. आपको एक बारीक छलनी लेनी है. This is whole wheat flour. So I'm adding some whole wheat flour here. This is baking powder. Just remember that whenever you are using baking powder, you have to level it and then use it. So this is my baking powder. To this, I'm adding a little bit of baking soda. It's just about a pinch of baking soda that I have added. For flavoring my banana muffins, I'm adding some cinnamon powder and some chai masala. Chai masala is optional. You can also use cardamom powder here. I'm sieving all my ingredients. Sieving the ingredients ensures that all the ingredients get mixed really well. And also if there are any sort of impurities or lumps, they also get removed. Using whole wheat flour is definitely beneficial because maida is not very good for all of us. So it's better that we use whole wheat flour. I hope you guys are cooking along with me. So it's almost done. I get a lot of questions on cake baking. I'm going to give you a lot of pro tips today which will help you make any cake. So you see there are some impurities here, so I'm going to remove them. So this becomes my dry mix. Now the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my wet mix. So here I have a banana. This is about 100 grams without skin. So I'm just going to peel it off first. Make sure you're using a ripe banana. Ripe banana is moist, it's sweet, it will give you a better result. So I'm putting my banana into a jar. You can also do this in a mixer grinder or a blender. I'm going to blend it up. You have to use either a hand blender or a mixer grinder to do this. You have to make a nice smooth puree out of this. Just in case you have less banana, you can also use yogurt here. So I was slightly short on banana today. So I'm using a little bit of yogurt that I will add a little later. This is more or less done. Make sure you get maximum out of this. Okay. So my banana puree is ready. Just ensure that it is a smooth paste. There cannot be any lumps in it. So the next thing I'm going to do is make my wet mixture. So I'm going to first transfer all my banana puree into the bowl. You can also make a bigger batch. So I am making a really small batch. I'm only making a batch with half a cup of whole wheat flour. But you can also make a big batch here. This batch that I'm making, it's going to give me about 5 to 6 small muffins. Like I said, I was slightly short on banana, so I'm going to add a little bit of yogurt here. So just about 2 teaspoons of yogurt is what I have added here. But the total weight of yogurt plus banana should be around 100 grams. I'm going to give you the measurements of the dry mix once again. To this, I'm adding some brown sugar. Some oil. If you don't want to add oil, you can also add butter here. If you don't want to use brown sugar, you can always use jaggery as well. Mix it all up. This entire process can also be done in a mixer grinder. In case you want to do it in the mixer grinder, just blend everything together. Just make sure that everything gets uniformly mixed. I'm going to give you some more options in case you don't want to use banana as well. So yeah, this is more or less done. Now, before you mix the dry ingredients and wet ingredients together, you have to prepare your muffin tray. You can either use these individual muffin cups or you can use a tray like the one I am using. The first step is you need to grease it. Now, because I'm using a non-stick tray, I'm just lightly greasing it with oil. But if you're using an aluminium one, make sure you grease it and then you also dust it with flour. Dusting it with flour will ensure that your muffins do not stick to the tray. Put a nice light layer of oil. You can also do this with butter. Once this is done, I'm going to keep it aside. At the same time, the oven needs to be preheated. For the additions on top, I have some walnuts and I also have some oats here. So here are my walnuts and those are my oats. So I'm just breaking the walnuts very roughly. You don't want to make a powder, but yes, you do want like nice big chunks. So keeping this aside, I have also preheated my oven. Preheating the oven is very, very important. Do not start this process if you have not preheated the oven. Okay, and now we're going to mix our dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. So I'm whisking my batter. So this is just the banana mix here. To this, I'm going to be adding my dry ingredients. So the dry ingredient blend has my whole wheat flour, baking soda, baking powder, the spices. So I'm just going to show you my oven settings. My oven is preheated at around 175 degrees Celsius, top and bottom rod on.
So guys, I'm going to give you some cake baking tips. जब भी आप कोई भी baking कर रहे हैं, सबसे पहला और सबसे मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप ये होता है कि जो इंग्रेडिएंट्स को मेजर करना है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. तो आज जो मैंने इंग्रेडिएंट्स यूज़ किए हैं, जो ड्राई इंग्रेडिएंट्स, आई एम गोना गिव यू अ रीकैप. मैंने यूज़ किया है हाफ कप फ्लावर, यानी कि आधा कप मैंने होल व्हीट फ्लावर यूज़ किया है. इसके अंदर मैंने आधा टीस्पून यानी कि हाफ टी स्पून बेकिंग पाउडर डाला है. 1 से 2 चुटकी बेकिंग सोडा डालना है. अगर आप चाहें तो थोड़ा सा नमक डाल सकते हैं, हल्का सा नमक. एंड जो हमारे सूखे मसाले मैंने यूज़ किया है, सिनेमन पाउडर एंड चाय के मसाले का मिक्सचर. तो वो सारे आपके ड्राई इंग्रेडिएंट्स हो गए. सो जैसे मैंने कहा, फर्स्ट स्टेप है इंग्रेडिएंट्स को मेजर करना. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसके बाद जो दूसरा इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप है वो है ड्राई इंग्रेडिएंट्स को छानना, यानी कि यू हैव टू सीव योर ड्राई इंग्रेडिएंट्स. अगर आप सीव नहीं करेंगे तो हो सकता है कि आपके केक बैटर में लम्प्स आए और कहीं कहीं पे केक थोड़ा सा कच्चा रह जाएगा, इसलिए बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट दैट। थर्ड इम्पॉर्टेंट स्टेप ये है कि oven needs to be preheated. Whenever you're baking anything, oven needs to be preheated. Preheated का मतलब है you have to heat it until the final temperature has been achieved. यानी कि if your final baking temperature is 180 degrees Celsius, your oven needs to be preheated at 180 degrees Celsius until the temperature of 180 has been reached. अब जो अवन है उसको प्री हीट होने में करीबन 10 मिनट लगते हैं, इसलिए ओनली मिक्स योर ड्राई एंड वेट इंग्रेडिएंट्स आफ्टर योर अवन हैज़ बिन प्री हीटेड। अगर आप पहले से करेंगे स्पेशली फॉर एगलेस बेकिंग, इट कैन इफेक्ट द रिजल्ट्स, ठीक है। सो इसलिए प्री हीटिंग का बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान दीजिए। इसके बाद जो अगला पॉइंट है, जब भी आप मिक्सिंग कर रहे हैं केक बैटर की, हमेशा एक ही डायरेक्शन में केक बैटर को मिक्स करिए। अगर आप बैटर को अलग अलग डायरेक्शन में मिक्स करेंगे, हो सकता है योर केक विल नॉट राइज इनफ। नेक्स्ट स्टेप कि जब भी आप बेकिंग कर रहे हैं, बीच बीच में अवन नहीं खोलना है। अगर आप अवन को बीच बीच में खोलते रहेंगे, सो व्हाट विल हैपन इज़ दैट जो आपका अवन का टेम्परेचर है वो अनस्टेबल हो जाएगा, टेम्परेचर में फॉल आएगा, एंड हो सकता है कि आपका जो केक राइज कर रहा है वो कोलैप्स कर जाए। इसलिए प्लीज़ डोंट ओपन योर अवन, स्पेशली केक्स के साथ। जब भी आपकी बेकिंग कंप्लीट हो जाए उसके बाद केक को निकालिए, उसको थोड़ा सा कूल करिए एंड इंस्टेंटली अनमोल्ड कर लीजिए। अनमोल्ड करके जो वायर रैक होता है उसी पे हमें कूलिंग करनी है। इससे आपका केक नीचे से सॉगी नहीं होगा, गीला नहीं होगा, साथ ही साथ जो केक है उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ थोड़ी बढ़ जाएगी।
Back to my batter. I'm going to add the dry ingredients here. Okay, so the dry ingredients have gone into my banana mixture and I'm going to nicely whisk it up. Just make sure you are not over mixing it. For a cake batter, you cannot over mix the batter. Just mix it to make a smooth batter. In case you feel that your batter is too thick, just add a little bit of yogurt. That's it. I think the batter is slightly thick here. I'm going to add a little bit of yogurt. Okay, yes. So just mixing it up. Make sure you mix only in one direction. I'm just going to grab some yogurt here. So I'm adding a little bit of yogurt, just about 1 tablespoon. Yeah, around 1 tablespoon is what I have added here. I'm just going to mix it up to adjust the final consistency. In case you don't want to add yogurt, you can also add milk. Milk is also perfect. Okay, now the batter is perfect. It will be slightly thicker than a regular cake batter because you want the muffin to have a nice muffin top. Okay, I'm going to grab my tray that I have already greased. My oven is already preheated. Guys, don't do this if you have not preheated your oven. So I'm using an ice cream scoop to do this. Now the reason I'm using an ice cream scoop is because when you use an ice cream scoop or any measuring cup or something, you will always get uniform scoops. The measurement in each will be exactly the same. The batter looks good. Also, this smells amazing. By the way, I did not add any vanilla extract to this, but you can also add a little bit of vanilla extract or vanilla essence to the batter. I think I'm going to get about 5 portions here. There's a lot more batter stuck into my bowl. So I'm going to grab all of it and put it into my muffin tray. I think that looks perfect. Just even out the top. Make sure that the top is slightly smooth. Even if it is a little uneven, it's fine. But yeah, a little bit. Just give it a nice shake. Make sure it's on all the edges. Perfect. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to top it up with my walnuts and oats. So a nice generous amount of walnut. This is almost one walnut on every muffin. You know, it's hard to get kids to eat walnuts, and we all know that walnuts are amazing for sharpening the brains. To this, I'm going to be adding some oats. So oats has a lot of fiber. It's all the good carbs. So a little bit of oats here. I'm also going to be topping it up with a little bit of brown sugar. Now what brown sugar does on top is it's going to give you slightly, the crunchiness that you need on top, the sugar crunch. So yes, now this is going to go into my oven. My oven is already preheated, so just putting this into the oven. It's looking perfect. In this goes, and we're going to let this bake.
So जो हमारे बनाना ब्रेकफास्ट मफिन्स है वो मैंने बेक करने के लिए डाल दिए हैं. इसे बेक होने में करीबन 20 to 25 मिनट्स लगेगा. मैंने इसे 180 डिग्रीज पे डाला है. जब तक ये बेक हो रहा है तब तक जो हमारी नेक्स्ट रेसिपी है उसकी तैयारी कर लेते हैं, जो है हमारे एनर्जी बॉल्स. सो जो हमारे बनाना ब्रेकफास्ट मफिन्स है वो मैंने बेक करने के लिए डाल दिए हैं. इसे बेक होने में करीबन 20 to 25 मिनट्स लगेगा. मैंने इसे 180 डिग्रीज पे डाला है. जब तक ये बेक हो रहा है तब तक जो हमारी नेक्स्ट रेसिपी है उसकी तैयारी कर लेते हैं, जो है हमारे एनर्जी बॉल्स.
So energy balls बनाने के लिए I'm using some dark chocolate. You can use dark chocolate or milk chocolate. I have just chopped it up.
जो हमारे चॉकलेट एनर्जी ट्रफल बॉल्स है उसे बनाने के लिए मैं सबसे पहले थोड़ा सा चॉकलेट ले रही हूँ. इस चॉकलेट को मैं माइक्रोवेव में मेल्ट करूँगी एंड देन आई विल बी एडिंग सम क्रीम इनटू इट. सो जो प्रोपोर्शन है ऑफ चॉकलेट टू क्रीम दैट इज 2:1, यानी कि 100 ग्राम्स चॉकलेट में मैं डालूंगी 50 ग्राम्स ऑफ क्रीम एंड 1 टेबलस्पून ऑफ बटर. ठीक है, बस इतनी ही चीज़ें हमें करनी है. सो इसे मैं मेल्ट कर रही हूँ. इसे मैंने मेल्ट कर लिया है ऑलरेडी एंड नाउ मैं इसके अंदर डालूंगी हमारे दूसरे इंग्रेडिएंट्स.
एक बार रिपीट करूँगी. इन दिस बोल आई हैव एडेड चॉकलेट. इसके बाद आई हैव एडेड सम हॉट क्रीम इनटू इट. चॉकलेट और क्रीम को अच्छे से मेल्ट कर लिया है. थोड़ा सा बटर भी डाला है मैंने इसके अंदर. वापस थोड़ा सा माइक्रोवेव कर रही हूँ ताकि अच्छे से मेल्ट हो जाए. सिर्फ 30 सेकेंड्स के लिए ही माइक्रोवेव करना है ताकि जो आपकी चॉकलेट है वो जल ना जाए. यू सी अभी भी इसके अंदर लम्प्स है. जितने भी लम्प्स हैं वो अच्छे से मेल्ट हो जाने चाहिए. कोई भी छोटा या फिर बड़ा चॉकलेट का पीस इसमें रह नहीं जाना चाहिए. वैसे आई एम यूजिंग डार्क चॉकलेट. यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज मिल्क चॉकलेट हियर. जो रेगुलर चॉकलेट मार्केट में मिलती है आप उसका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं.
अब ये मेल्ट हो गया है. अब मैं इसमें डालूंगी हमारे नट्स. नट्स ऑब्वियसली बहुत ही हेल्दी होते हैं. वी नो दैट दे आर गुड फैट्स. इनफैक्ट अगर आप इंटरवल्स में नट्स खाते रहेंगे यू विल नॉट बिंज ईट, यानी कि यू विल स्टे फुलर फॉर वेरी वेरी लॉन्ग. राइट, ओके.
सो चलिए जो हमारे एनर्जी ट्रफल बॉल्स का मिक्सचर है इसमें नट्स डाल लेते हैं. सो यहाँ पे in the nuts I have almonds, I have some cashew, I also have walnuts here. इसे अच्छे से मिक्स करना है. वैसे आप पिस्ताचियो यूज़ कर सकते हैं, हेज़ल नट्स यूज़ कर सकते हैं. बेसिकली जो भी नट आपको पसंद है वो आप इसमें डाल सकते हैं. आप क्वांटिटी ऑफ नट्स थोड़ी बढ़ा भी सकते हैं. मैंने करीबन आधा कप नट्स लिया है. इसमें मैं थोड़ा सा जो बिस्किट का चूरा होता है यानी बिस्किट क्रम्ब, I have also put a little bit of biscuit crumb. इसमें मैं डेट्स भी डाल रही हूँ. ये मेजदूल डेट्स है. जो मेजदूल डेट्स होते हैं वो बहुत ही सॉफ्ट होते हैं. अगर आपके डेट्स थोड़े सॉफ्ट नहीं हैं आप उसके पीसेस में चॉप करके भी डाल सकते हैं इसके अंदर. मेजदूल डेट्स आर ऑलमोस्ट लाइक एकदम ही मखमली होते हैं वो, क्वाइट स्मूथ. So I'm going to mix everything अच्छे से मिक्स करना है ताकि एक यूनिफॉर्म मिक्सचर बन जाए। अब ये जो मिक्सचर है हम इसे रेफ्रिजरेट करेंगे करीबन 10 से 12 मिनट के लिए।
जो मेरा चॉकलेट एंड नट एनर्जी बॉल का मिक्सचर है उसको मैंने फ्रिज में रख लिया है ताकि वी कैन चिल इट फॉर सम टाइम। इन द मीनवाइल जो मेरा केक है वो तैयार हो गया है, इसे निकाल के एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं।
बाय द वे जो मफिन्स है वो भी तैयार हो गए हैं, इसे मैं निकाल लाई हूँ। इसे एक बार चेक कर लेंगे। चेक करने के लिए एक स्क्यूअर लेके बिल्कुल मफिन के बीच में डालें। अब देखिए एकदम क्लीन स्क्यूअर बाहर निकल आया है, इसका मतलब मफिन्स आर रेडी। अब मफिन्स को थोड़ी देर ठंडा कर लेंगे। एक मफिन निकाल के चेक कर लेते हैं। जस्ट लुक कितना सॉफ्ट है ये। वैसे अभी भी मफिन्स थोड़े से वार्म है, इसे ज़्यादा मिस हैंडल नहीं करना है। आई एम जस्ट शोइंग यू, काफ़ी सॉफ्ट बने हैं। इसे अब मैं कूल करूँगी एक वायर रैक पे। हमेशा याद रखें जब भी कोई केक बना रहे हैं या फिर कोई मफिन बना रहे हैं, ऑलवेज कूल इट ऑन अ वायर रैक। सो ये रहा वायर रैक। वायर रैक पे मैं अपने मफिन्स रखूँगी। सो ये रहे। कूल करते समय ऑलवेज रिमेंबर कि आप मफिन्स को कवर्ड रख रहे हैं। एक पतला सा जो मसलिन क्लॉथ होता है, आप एक मसलिन क्लॉथ से उसे कवर कर सकते हैं। सो मैं इसे कवर कर रही हूँ जब तक कि एकदम रूम टेम्परेचर पे ना आ जाए।
जो हमारा चॉकलेट एंड नट एनर्जी बॉल्स का मिक्सचर है वो हो गया है बिल्कुल तैयार। इसको अब हम शेप करके इसके एनर्जी बॉल्स बना लेंगे।
सो ये रहा चॉकलेट एंड नट एनर्जी बॉल का मिक्सचर। काफ़ी थिक हो जाएगा, इट ऑलमोस्ट सेट्स अप। हाथ पे थोड़ा सा तेल लगा लें, हल्का सा ग्रीसिंग करनी है हाथ की ताकि जो मिक्सचर है वो बहुत ज़्यादा चिपके नहीं। मिक्सचर सॉफ्ट ही होगा। इसके छोटे छोटे लड्डू बनाने हैं, छोटे छोटे बॉल्स बनाने हैं हमें। इसे मैं कोट करूँगी 2 तरीके से। पहला तो यहाँ पे मेरे पास बिस्किट का चूरा है उसके अंदर। सो ये बस डाइजेस्टिव बिस्किट मैंने यूज़ किए हैं। यू कैन यूज़ एनी बिस्किट ऑफ योर चॉइस। आप इसे बस साइड पे रख दें। आई बी मेकिंग मोर। पहले what you have to do is first just compress it so that the ball comes together and then you shape it. Secondly, I'm going to be coating it in cocoa powder. So ये रहा cocoa powder. Just roll it up. And ये हो गया है ready. Looks very very good. Again, जो process है उसे repeat करूँगी. I'm coating it in the biscuit crumb. By the way, you can also coat it in nuts ka powder. So you can powder the nuts and also coat it in that. या फिर use desiccated coconut. That will also taste very nice. Just bring it together and then उसको shape कर लें आप। कोको पाउडर में बस कोट करना है हल्का हल्का, ज़्यादा नहीं करना है, जस्ट सो दैट टॉप पे एक लेयर आ जाए कोको पाउडर की। दीज आर एक्चुअली परफेक्ट फॉर किड्स। बहुत ही टेस्टी होते हैं। इनफैक्ट किड्स ही नहीं, आई लव इट सो मच। मैंने तो बहुत ही छोटा सा बैच बनाया है। आई हैव ओनली मेड 60 से 70 ग्राम्स चॉकलेट का एंड उसमें काफ़ी अच्छे साइज़ के 7 बॉल्स जितने बन जाते हैं। सो ऑलमोस्ट इस एक बॉल का वेट इज़ नियरली 30 ग्राम्स जितना। काफ़ी अच्छा होता है, एक इंस्टेंट एनर्जी दे देता है सभी को। तो से अगर आप शॉपिंग जा रहे हैं या कुछ भी, आप ये 2-3 बॉल्स एक कंटेनर में या पैक करके ले जाएं एंड दे विल बी परफेक्ट। सारी चॉकलेट को स्क्रैप कर करके ले लीजिए, कुछ भी वेस्ट नहीं करना है. It's looking perfect. फिर से बस कोट कर रही हूं मैं. जैसे कि मैंने आपको बहुत सारे कोटिंग ऑप्शंस बताए हैं, आप कुछ भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. You can store these in an airtight container in the fridge up to 2 weeks. काफ़ी अच्छे लग रहे हैं. इसे अब हम सर्व कर लेते हैं. ओके, सो ये हो गए हैं तैयार.
सो गाइज, हमारे जो चॉकलेट एंड नट एनर्जी ट्रफल बॉल्स हैं, ये हो गए हैं बिल्कुल तैयार. इसे रख लेती हूँ यहाँ.
जो ब्रेकफास्ट बनाना मफिन्स है उसे एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं. ये भी ठंडे हो गए हैं. दे लुक रियली गुड. एक पीस को तोड़ के चेक करेंगे हम. विल जस्ट कट इट अप टू सी अंदर का जो टेक्सचर है वो कैसा है. ओह माय गॉड, दिस इज सो नाइस. इतना फ्लफी और डिलिशियस लग रहा है ये. यू कैन सी काफ़ी सॉफ्ट बना है. इसमें जो छोटे छोटे होल्स दिख रहे हैं, इसका मतलब इसमें जो राइजिंग हुई है वो भी काफ़ी अच्छी हुई है.
और जो हमारे मफिन्स हैं ये भी हो गए हैं तैयार. आई एम गोइंग टू सर्व दीज अप. सो भाई, मेरा वीकेंड तो काफ़ी स्पेशल हो गया है बिकॉज आई हैव माई फेवरेट थिंग्स फॉर ब्रेकफास्ट टुडे. दीज मफिन्स आर परफेक्ट. यू कैन सी इतने खूबसूरत हैं. एंड साथ ही साथ आई हैव दीज एनर्जी बॉल्स विद मी जो मेरी इम्यूनिटी को बूस्ट करेंगे एंड विल हेल्प मी स्टे सुपर डुपर फिट. वैसे एक चीज़ बताऊंगी ये ब्रेकफास्ट मफिन्स के बारे में. अगर आप बनाना यूज़ नहीं करना चाहते हैं, यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज़ एप्पल प्यूरे. एप्पल प्यूरे ऑल्सो वर्क्स वेरी वेल. साथ ही साथ कैरेट प्यूरे वर्क्स अमेजिंग. मतलब कैरेट प्यूरे वाला इट टेस्ट सो नाइस. इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक ईटिंग गाजर का हलवा. सो इसमें मैंने कोई आर्टिफिशियल फ्लेवर भी नहीं डाला, स्पेशली बिकॉज विद किड्स यू डोंट वांट टू गिव देम आर्टिफिशियल फ्लेवर्स. इसलिए मैंने इसमें सिर्फ जो चाय का मसाला होता है और सिनेमन होता है वो डाला है. लेकिन अगर आप इसमें थोड़ा सा वेनिला एसेंस डालना चाहते हैं, यू कैन पुट वेनिला एसेंस. साथ ही साथ जो ऑरेंज जेस्ट होती है, यानी कि जो ऑरेंज का छिलका होता है, यू कैन ऑल्सो पुट ऑरेंज जेस्ट. इट इज़ वेरी वेरी नाइस. थोड़ा सा कॉफ़ी पाउडर डाल सकते हैं, एंड इसके अलावा जो कैरेट वाला अगर आप कभी बनाएंगे, यू कैन यूज़ अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ कार्डमम. कार्डमम डालते ही उसके अंदर जो फ्लेवर आएगा दैट विल बी लाइक अ गाजर का हलवा. आप थोड़ा सा पिस्ताचियो डाल सकते हैं. इन टर्म्स ऑफ नट्स, यू कैन पुट वट एवर नट यू वॉन्ट. थोड़ा सा कोको पाउडर डाल सकते हैं ताकि इसको मॉडिफाई करके थोड़ा सा चॉकलेटी बना लें. यू कैन ऑल्सो पुट अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ चॉकलेट चिप्स इफ यू वॉन्ट. दैट ऑल्सो वर्क्स वेरी वेल. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि जैगरी इज़ परफेक्ट फॉर दिस. अगर आप शुगर नहीं यूज़ करना चाहते, ब्राउन शुगर भी यूज़ नहीं करना चाहते हैं, देन जैगरी इज़ एब्सोल्युटली परफेक्ट.
सो चलिए मैं अब आपको एक झटपट सा एक बैटर बनाना सिखा देती हूँ. ये उत्तपम या फिर डोसे के लिए आप यूज़ कर सकते हैं. ये एक सूजी या फिर एक इंस्टेंट उत्तपम का बैटर है. सबसे पहले ये जो इंस्टेंट उत्तपम का बैटर है, ये बनाने के लिए हम लेंगे थोड़ी सी सूजी. सो हियर सूजी को वैसे रवा भी बोलते हैं और इन इंग्लिश यू कॉल इट सेमोलिना. सो हियर आई हैव सम सेमोलिना एंड ये जो है ये फाइन वाली सूजी है. दिस इज़ बारीक सूजी. टू दिस आई एम एडिंग अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ सॉल्ट. यू कैन ऑल्सो एड अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ ब्लैक पेपर इफ़ यू वॉन्ट. डिपेंड्स कि आप कितना स्पाइसी पसंद करते हैं या हाउ स्पाइसी योर किड्स लाइक द फूड. To this I'm going to be adding some sour yogurt. This is just regular khatta dahi that we make at home. So I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of sour yogurt. So here in goes the yogurt सो बेसिकली ये बैटर को बना के यू हैव टू कीप इट असाइड फॉर अबाउट 15 से 20 मिनट्स. सो यहाँ पे मैं इसमें पानी डाल रही हूँ एंड इसे मिक्स कर लेना है. अच्छे से मिक्स करना है. इनिशियली आपको लगेगा कि बैटर पतला है, बट उसमें और सूजी मत डालिएगा बिकॉज सूजी हैज़ द टेंडेंसी टू अब्जॉर्ब वाटर और वो स्वेल हो जाएगी. सो अब ये जैसे आप देख रहे हैं बैटर थोड़ा पतला लग रहा है, लेकिन दिस विल स्वेल अप एंड ये बैटर थोड़ा थिक हो जाएगा. मैंने ऑलरेडी बैटर पहले से बना के रखा हुआ था, सो आई विल शो इट टू यू. लेकिन इन द मीनवाइल क्योंकि हम एक आर्ट उत्तपम बना रहे हैं, सबसे पहले जो इसकी टॉपिंग्स हैं वो बना लेंगे. सो यहाँ पे मेरे पास है थोड़ा सा गाजर. मैं गाजर को कट कर रही हूँ. सो अलग अलग शेप्स एंड साइजेस में हम कट करेंगे. सबसे पहले जो मैं गाजर का फ्लावर बनाऊंगी उसके लिए मैंने राउंडल्स काटे हैं, जिसको मैंने साइड पे रख लिया है. एंड नाउ थोड़ा सा बारीक गाजर भी काट रही हूँ. विल जस्ट कट इट अभी के लिए एंड देन बाद में फिगर आउट करेंगे हम इसे कैसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं टू मेक समथिंग सुपर कूल एंड आर्टिस्टिक. सो ये हो गई गाजर. गाजर को रख लेते हैं साइड पे. थोड़ी सी और गाजर काट लेते हैं, मुझे लग रहा है बहुत ही कम है. बस रफली काटना है गाजर को. आप एक चॉपर में भी काट सकते हैं, अगर आपको हाथ से नहीं काटना तो आप चॉपर भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. मेरे पास है थोड़ा सा स्प्रिंग अनियन. सो जो स्प्रिंग अनियन का ग्रीन हिस्सा है मैं वो यूज़ करूँगी. इसे भी हम बारीक काट लेंगे. स्प्रिंग अनियंस का फ्लेवर काफ़ी अच्छा होता है. साथ ही साथ इट इज़ वेरी रिफ्रेशिंग. अनियन जितना शार्प नहीं होता एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट मेक्स इट मोर एक्सेप्टेबल फॉर किड्स. एक साइड पे सारी वेजीज रख लेते हैं. सो स्प्रिंग अनियंस हो गए, कैरेट्स हो गए. नेक्स्ट आप इसमें कोई भी सब्जियां यूज़ कर सकते हैं. मेरे पास थोड़ी सी चेरी टमेटो थी. सो इस चेरी टमेटो को मैं हाफ में कट करके आई विल बी यूजिंग इट एज अ बी, यानी कि जो रेड बी होती है बी की तरह, या फिर आप बटरफ्लाई की तरह भी इमेजिन कर सकते हैं. मैं जैसे बटरफ्लाई के या फिर बी के विंग्स होते हैं वो मैंने बना लिए हैं. मेरे पास थोड़ी सी मिर्ची भी है. अगर आपके पास लाल शिमला मिर्च है तो लाल शिमला मिर्च यूज़ कर सकते हैं, या फिर जो रेगुलर टमाटर होते हैं रेगुलर टमाटर भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. थोड़े से राउंडल्स काट रही हूँ ताकि जो फ्लावर का सेंटर है हम सेंटर बना सकें इससे. एंड थोड़ा सा बारीक भी काटेंगे ताकि जो नीचे हम घास वगैरह बनाएंगे उसमें थोड़ा सा हम कलर ऐड कर सकें. सो इसे मैं बारीक भी काट रही हूँ. आप इसमें येलो वाली शिमला मिर्च भी डाल सकते हैं, ऑरेंज कलर की शिमला मिर्च आती है वो भी डाल सकते हैं. यू कैन यूज़ वेजिटेबल्स ऑफ योर इमेजिनेशन. थोड़ा सा धनिया डाल रही हूँ बिकॉज धनिया का फ्लेवर काफ़ी अच्छा होता है. सो आई एम जस्ट गोना फाइन चॉप सम धनिया. धनिया काफ़ी न्यूट्रिशियस होता है. इट्स वेरी 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 हेल्दी एंड वेरी फ्लेवरफुल. इंडियन फूड का इंटेग्रल पार्ट है ये. सो थोड़ा सा धनिया भी काट लिया है मैंने. थोड़ा सा प्याज भी डालेंगे बिकॉज आई लव अनियंस. सो ज़्यादा नहीं, छोटा सा आधा प्याज लिया है मैंने. दिस इज लुकिंग गुड सो फार. काफ़ी कलरफुल ऑलरेडी लग रहा है मेरा प्लेटर. आई एम ऑलरेडी वेरी वेरी एक्साइटेड. अब क्योंकि हम एक फ्लावर बनाने वाले हैं, फ्लावर के लिए एक स्टेम भी चाहिए. सो ये रही स्टेम. मैंने एक स्टेम ले ली है. सो इन सबको मैं उठा के साइड पे रख देती हूँ. जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले बताया मेरे पास ऑलरेडी थोड़ा सा बैटर बना हुआ था. सो ये रहा बैटर. इस बैटर को आप फ्लेवर कर सकते हैं. मैं अदरक और हरी मिर्च डाल रही हूँ. नमक मैंने पहले से डाल रखा है, लेकिन अब नमक, थोड़ा सा ब्लैक पेपर डाल सकते हैं. आप थोड़ा सा इनफैक्ट धनिया भी डाल सकते हैं इस बैटर के अंदर. इसे अच्छे से मिक्स कर लीजिए। जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले बताया कि आपका बैटर इनिशियली थोड़ा पतला लगेगा, लेकिन जैसे ही सूजी पानी अब्जॉर्ब कर लेगी सूजी फूल जाएगी एंड दैट विल मेक द बैटर थिक। सो यहाँ पे मेरे पास एक नॉन स्टिक तवा है। आप या तो एक नॉन स्टिक तवा यूज़ कर सकते हैं या फिर कास्ट आयरन का तवा। ऑब्वियसली दोनों में थोड़े से डिफरेंस है। सो हियर जो मेरा बैटर है ये हो गया है तैयार। इसे मैं डिवाइड करूँगी इनटू 2 पार्ट्स। छोटे छोटे पोर्शन में ही बनाना चाहिए बिकॉज ये एक इंस्टेंट उत्तपम है। सबसे पहले तो एक बोल में मैं थोड़ा सा बैटर लूँगी, ज़्यादा नहीं, 3 से 4 चम्मच तक लेना है बैटर को। आई थिंक थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा डाल लिया मैंने, या थोड़ा सा बैटर मैं निकाल रही हूँ। सो करीबन 3 से 4 चम्मच तक है ये। एंड इसके अंदर जो मैं नेक्स्ट चीज़ डालूँगी वो है इनो यानी कि फ्रूट सॉल्ट। सो अगर आप फ्रूट सॉल्ट नहीं डालना चाहते हैं आप इसमें बेकिंग पाउडर भी डाल सकते हैं, बट इनो इसे एक इंस्टेंट सा फर्मेंटेशन जैसा इफ़ेक्ट देगा। मतलब जल्दी से ही ये बैटर फूल जाएगा। यू कैन सी छोटे छोटे बबल्स ऑलरेडी आ गए हैं। जैसे ही ये बैटर रेडी हो जाए आप एक गरम तवे पे इसे डाल दें। गरम तवे पे ही डालना है और याद रखें मीडियम हीट पे। तवा बहुत ज़्यादा गरम नहीं होना चाहिए और बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडा भी नहीं होना चाहिए। सो इस बैटर को आपको छोटे छोटे बैचेस में ही बनाना होगा। आप एक साथ इनो नहीं डाल सकते हैं पूरे के पूरे बैटर में। जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट थिंग। आई एम जस्ट स्प्रेडिंग इट आउट इवनली। आई एम गोइंग टू स्प्रेड इट। बहुत पतला ना करें बिकॉज रिमेंबर हम इसके ऊपर वेजिटेबल्स डालने वाले हैं। अगर ये थिक नहीं होगा देन वेजिटेबल्स विल नॉट बी एबल टू स्टिक ऑन इट। सो ये रही मेरी कलरफुल सारी की सारी वेजिटेबल्स। एंड नाउ सबसे जो इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट है जो आप अपने बच्चों के साथ कर सकते हैं वो शुरू हो गया है। सबसे पहले मैं इस पर डाल रही हूँ थोड़ा सा धनिया। सो धनिया डाल दिया है क्योंकि घास का एक इफेक्ट देने के लिए। नेक्स्ट मैंने इसके ऊपर जो हमने लाल मिर्च काटी थी वो डाल ली है। थोड़ा सा मैं इस पर डाल रही हूँ प्याज बिकॉज प्याज ऑब्वियसली टेस्ट वेरी नाइस। नेक्स्ट मैं इस पर डालूँगी थोड़ा सा कैरेट। स्प्रिंग अनियंस भी डाले हैं मैंने, थोड़े से कैरेट्स डाल रही हूँ। सो ये रहे कैरेट्स। यू सी ऑलरेडी इट्स स्टार्टिंग टू लुक वेरी वेरी प्रिटी। जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया हम एक गार्डन का फील देने वाले हैं। अब गार्डन में कोई फूल तो होते ही हैं, इसलिए मैंने ये धनिए की जो स्टेम होती है उससे मेरे फ्लावर की स्टेम बनाई है। सेंटर में एक मिर्ची रख के जो कैरेट्स होते हैं उससे पेटल्स बनाएंगे। सो ये रहे कैरेट्स की पेटल्स। इज़न्ट दिस प्रिटी? काफ़ी ईजी है, क्रिएटिव भी है काफ़ी। इट मेक्स इट अ वेरी वेरी फन प्रोसेस। सो ये रही हमारी छोटी सी बी। इट्स लुकिंग सो प्रिटी। अब जो बी के कान होते हैं या फिर एंटीना होते हैं उसे भी बना लेते हैं। एंटीना हम बनाएंगे जो हमारा धनिए की स्टेम होती है उसी से। अगर आपके पास ऑलिव है तो आप ऑलिव से भी बना सकते हैं। वैसे क्योंकि हम ये नॉनस्टिक पे कुक कर रहे हैं इसे बहुत ज़्यादा ऑयल की ज़रूरत तो नहीं है, लेकिन जस्ट ताकि ये अच्छे से कुक हो आई एम गोइंग टू बी एडिंग अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ बटर। थोड़ा सा ही बटर डालेंगे साइड पे एंड देन इसे ढक के हम पकाएंगे। मीडियम आंच पे पकाना है। आंच को आप तेज़ ना करें, अगर आंच तेज़ करेंगे तो ये जल सकता है। सो आई एम जस्ट पुटिंग अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ बटर। ये मैंने ठंडा ही बटर डाला है ताकि वो धीरे धीरे मेल्ट हो जाए। आप देखेंगे कि बहुत ज़्यादा मैंने बटर नहीं डाला है इसमें। इसके बाद मैं इसे ढक लूँगी ताकि ऊपर से भी जो हमारा उत्तपम है वो अच्छे से पक जाए। सो थोड़ी देर इसे ढकेंगे। तब तक मैं आपको नॉन स्टिक पैन और कास्ट आयरन पैन के बारे में बता देती हूँ। सो अगर आपके पास एक नॉन स्टिक पैन नहीं है तो आप एक कास्ट आयरन यानी कि जो लोहे का पैन होता है वो भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं। थोड़ा सा बटर को स्प्रेड कर लेते हैं, फिर से ढक लूँगी मैं इसे। अगर आप लोहे का पैन यूज़ कर रहे हैं उस पर पहले थोड़ा ऑयल डाल के रब करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. अगर आप वो करेंगे तो आपका जो उत्तपम है वो नीचे स्टिक नहीं होगा. हालांकि आई प्रेफर द नॉन स्टिक बिकॉज उसमें घी तेल थोड़ा कम लगता है. जस्ट रिमेंबर, बहुत पुराना नॉन स्टिक यूज़ ना करें जिसकी कोटिंग उतर गई है. इट्स नॉट वेरी गुड फॉर योर हेल्थ. ऑलवेज यूज़ अ नॉन स्टिक पैन जिस पे कोटिंग बरकरार है. सो आई थिंक द उत्तपम इज़ मोर और लेस रेडी. एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं. It's looking really good. It's looking very colorful and now it's time to flip it. See, flip करने पे थोड़ा सा तो जो हमारा बगीचा है वो it will get a little mushy, but it's okay. I think it is the process of making this जो इतना fun है, जिससे इतना मज़ा आता है that you end up enjoying the dish, you know. So obviously क्योंकि दूसरे साइड पे पकाना ज़रूरी है, थोड़ा सा जो इसकी वेजीज है वो थोड़ी सी दब जाएगी, but trust me, it still looks very very pretty. सो इसे हल्का हल्का दबा रही हूँ मैं ताकि वो अच्छे से कुक हो जाए. वैसे एक चीज़ है, जब आप वेजीज लगा रहे हैं थोड़ा सा उसको प्रेस कर दें ताकि वेजीज अपनी जगह से हिले ना. ओवरलोड मत करना वेजीज को, अदरवाइज इट विल बिकम टू सॉगी ऑल्सो बिकॉज वेजीज के अंदर पानी होता है. सो इन दिस जो हमारा टमाटर है वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा स्क्विश हो जाएगा, बट दैट्स ओके. आई थिंक इट्स मोर और लेस डन क्योंकि हमने इसे ढक के पकाया था. दूसरे साइड पे इतना ज़्यादा पकाने की ज़रूरत है नहीं, बट या ये देखिए, जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा कि थोड़ा सा टमाटर स्क्विश होगा, बट इट स्टिल लुक्स रियली प्रिटी, एंड आई थिंक जब आप अपने बच्चों के साथ बनाएंगे दिस विल बी अ सुपर डुपर फन प्रोसेस. सो हियर इट इज़, जो हमारा आर्ट उत्तपम है ये हो गया है बिल्कुल तैयार. एंड आई होप योर किड्स enjoy this.
I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and do let me know कि आपको आज की हमारी recipes कैसी लगी. And thank you guys for watching Aditya Birla Health Insurance's Health from Home Weekend Special.
Good morning, Ella. Health insurance, health from home weekend special. So I'm Dr. Venkateshwara, child and adolescent psychiatrist from Apollo Children Hospital. Today we'll be discussing on mental wellness of parents and children in these tough times. Like we all go through cope with these tough times. So we'll go into the discussion. So these are the common questions that is being asked. Does this pandemic affect mental health? How can parents help children if it is affecting mental health? How can parents balance work and home? Can we involve them in housework? Can we make them self-reliant? And there are lots of questions regarding online classes and how to cope and whether to take professional help. In this next 40 to 45 minutes, we'll be discussing on these lines. Okay. So, does this pandemic affect mental health? And how can parents help children in case of any anxiety or depression, etc.? Okay, if the answer is straightforward, yes, this pandemic affect mental health in some children. Children are more resilient than we think. Okay, many of them they are coping well. In fact, like we like parents are worried like about how to manage them and how to make them understand about the seriousness of the situation. Most of the children are enjoying this time at home and they are relaxed. But some children they have lots of anxiety and depression, etc. So common problem because of this pandemic and lockdown is one is anxiety, second is depression in some children, and third is there are lots of behavioral problems. Okay, so these are the common problems we encounter, and we will see about the first part. We will see about how parents can help children in case of these symptoms. Okay, first we will see about anxiety. Okay, so first of all, before going into how to help children with anxiety, we will see what is the difference between normal anxiety and clinical anxiety disorder. Okay, in my right side, this is normal anxiety, and this is clinical anxiety disorder. In case of the last part, when to take professional help, I keep telling along this discussion. Okay, in case of clinical anxiety disorder, we have to take professional help. But these are some of the normal anxiety I have mentioned. For example, small kids, 2 to 3 years, fear of thunder, loud sounds, okay, fear of animals. These things are very common. 4 to 5 years, fear of death and dead people. Okay, this is where the concept of death will come. Okay, they will be worried about death, or whether will I die, or some of my loved ones will die, so they will have this fear. 5 to 7 years, natural calamity, fear of germs, fear of monsters, all these things are normal, and also some amount of school anxiety is also normal. So this is when in this pandemic, especially children above 5 years, less than 9 years, they are prone for getting anxiety attacks, like whether will I catch corona, will I die because of this. So these are the age group of children who are excessively worried about this pandemic and its outcome. And adolescents, all these anxieties are to some extent common in adolescents also, but along with this, the rejection from peers. Like when it was some 15 years back, like when we were studying, this peer rejection was not that bigger a problem. Okay, but now it is becoming a serious problem. Almost like 1 in 3 adolescents who are coming to my clinic, they have this history of my close friend did not talk, or like he was talking with some other person, so like I am depressed. Okay, these have become very common complaints nowadays, rejection from peers. Okay, so these are some of the common anxiety symptoms we encounter in day to day life. Okay, how to manage, I'll tell you. Clinical anxiety disorder. Okay, these are the types of disorder. Clinical anxiety disorder. I'm not going to specific types, but overall, for more than 6 months, if the excessively worried, most of the time the child is worried. Child is having muscle ache, headache, or the child is having tremors, palpitation. There is no medical cause explaining palpitation, and sometimes lack of sleep. Then probably the child is having anxiety disorder. Okay, or when it is less than 6 months, if it is very intense. Okay, the child is very intense and totally different from what he or she was some time back. Okay, then this is suggestive of clinical anxiety disorder. In case of clinical anxiety disorder, you have to take professional help, because if you don't address it early, this will become chronic. In case of normal anxiety, you can manage from the tips I am going to tell you. So this is a mnemonic I used to tell. Okay, fear, FEAR. This is the mnemonic we should use in the management of anxiety. Okay, F for fear, that is manifest anxiety. For example, when we are worried excessively, like the children can have palpitation, sweating, tremors, or passing like feel like passing urine or motion. These are the manifest anxiety. Okay, manifestation of anxiety on the body. Okay, when these things are there, the main treatment will be relaxation exercise. Okay, relaxation exercise, like you can teach them simple deep breathing techniques. It is simple because it is very simple, like parents often ignore. Okay, it has a very good scientific basis. For example, like we tell the children to sit in a calm place, breathe in through the nose for 1 to 3 seconds and hold for around 3 seconds, and breathe out through mouth slowly. Okay, for 3 to 4 seconds. Here, like they should just focus on their breathing rather than anything else. Slowly they have to do. When they breathe in, the tummy should be full, and they breathe out, the tummy should be flat. Okay, this is a simple deep breathing. How it helps in our body, there is something called autonomic nervous system. That is, one is parasympathetic and another is sympathetic. The sympathetic is like accelerator, parasympathetic is like brake. Okay, during anxiety, the sympathetic overdrive will be there. We'll be aroused. Okay, by deep breathing, we are actually stimulating parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, like applying brake. So when you do this deep breathing, our body calms down and anxiety reduces. Okay, some parents are like, my child is getting bored with this simple deep breathing. Okay, he is not doing it. So there is much little more complex you can teach. This is called Jacobson progressive muscle relaxation technique. Okay, here there are some seven parts where they have to contract and relax. Slowly sit or lie down in a calm place, and we encourage them to do this. How to do? Because they are children, you have to teach them. Like for example, hand first is hand from in this order. Okay, um, feel like you are squeezing lemon in the hand. Okay, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then now you are squeezed and slowly release. This is relaxation of hand. Arms and shoulders. Okay, pretend you are a lazy cat. Okay, so you are going to stretch your hands and leg. Okay, so they can do like this, stretch, 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 also as well as legs, and slowly relax. Yeah, now laziness is gone. You are relaxing. Shoulder and neck. Remember, you are a turtle. Okay, and there is some danger, you are sensing some danger. So what will turtle do? It will go inside the shell. Okay, so it has gone into the shell. Now danger is gone. Slowly come out. And jaw, you are having a jawbreaker bubble gum, so bite it and break it. Tuck. Okay, so now you have broken it, so you can relax jaw muscle. Next is face and nose. Okay, imagine like there is a whole butterfly sitting on your nose. So you have to chase it without touching it. Okay, so do like this. So you are relaxing all facial muscles. Stomach. Assume you are lying down in a beach and there is a baby elephant who is coming and about to bite your tummy. Sorry, stamp on your tummy. So you contract. Now the baby elephant has seen you and it has gone in a different path. So relax. This is for tummy. Leg and foot, that is last step. Imagine like you are standing in a barefoot or a muddy puddle, and you should squish till your toe reach the bottom. So keep uh, get your feet down fast. So now you have reached the bottom. So now relax. Like that, various muscle group, you can tell them to contract and relax. If you could add another step, it will be perfect. So you have relaxed all your muscles. Make sure it is relaxed for some time, all the muscle group, and ask them to sit and focus on their muscles. So when they are extremely anxious, you can also teach them these Jacobson progressive relaxation exercise child version. It is available in the net. Okay, you type this, you will get it. Okay, it will reduce, as I said, manifest anxiety, that is effects of anxiety on the body. So what is the next thing? FE, expected negative thought. Okay, the second is we have to teach them to manage negative thought. Okay, so because in anxiety usually the negative thought will be catastrophe. Okay, what something bad will happen, like sometimes they will worry for a worst possible outcome. Okay, I'm going to catch COVID and I will definitely die. Okay, this is possible negative thought, because usually COVID in children is very mild and most of them will be asymptomatic, and even if it comes there will be symptoms of few days and they more norm is they will recover. But some children will have excessive worry and they will have worst possible outcome in their mind, that is catastrophe. Okay, so here we have to tell them to be aware of negative thoughts. Okay, first, like when you are worried, like ask them to listen to their mind. Okay, the mind keep talking to you. Okay, and listen to your mind and tell me what the mind is telling. Okay, the children will come out with few thoughts. Okay, and we like compare it with facts. Okay, when they tell all these negative thoughts, first of all compare it with facts, and we have to find out whether it is a valid fear or negative thought. Okay, valid fear means if I go out without protection, I might catch COVID infection. This is a valid fear. This is not a negative thought. So we have to encourage it, and we have to tell them like what are all the steps you will take to prevent it. This is valid fear. Negative thought is catastrophization, like fearing worst possible outcome and extensively worrying about it. Okay, when you get negative thought, be aware of it, analyze with facts, and reframe. Okay, get alternative explanation. The very small children, it is very difficult to do, but little older children, 6 years, 7 years, and all, we can pretty well do these exercise. Identify their negative thoughts and try to have alternative explanation. This is F E. E is over. Second is A, action. Okay, this is if there is valid fear, the fear is valid. Okay, if I go out I could catch COVID. Yes, this is valid for you and me as well as children. Okay, so what do we do? Problem solving. So in case of anger management also, we usually recommend this. Okay, if any anxiety or anger, we tell them to state the problem. It means write the problem in a row. Then think of different solutions. Each problem will have one or two or three solutions, and write it down and write pros and cons for each solution. They have to write it. Okay, they have to do this exercise and evaluate each one and find a pick best possible one and see if it works. This is the problem solving exercise we commonly do with children, but we should to encourage them to develop the habit of writing rather than just imagine these things. Okay, this always helps because they won't react impulsively, they won't worry excessively if they have this habit of problem solving. They should not decide about the solution and do problem solving. They should do problem solving and pick a solution. So this is what we should encourage. Okay, FEAR, that is action. Action is for valid fear which we have to do something. Fourth is reward. Okay, when they do all these things, the rewards are very important. Rewards are very important in case of anxiety, in case of management of behavior. So we can have some reward chart, like each one can make their own reward chart and make it little attractive so that children will have some motivation to do all these anxiety management techniques. You can give daily reward and make a TV time or a play time contingent on the reward. You can give a weekly reward. For example, if you take 5 stars a week, like you get to go out, but now we cannot take them out. We can promise something, some eatable or some small toy, etc. And long-term rewards. For example, the child wants cycle, a child wants a bat. Okay, you tell take 250 stars and you will get it. So make everything contingent on these rewards. They will get rewards if they follow your anxiety management protocol or if they exhibit a good behavior. Okay, usually the rewarding should be done for their effort rather than outcome. If they take a honest effort, please do give rewards. Okay, this is regarding anxiety management, FEAR. Okay, next we go on to the next, depression. Okay, is depression common in children? Yes. So again, as I was telling, for anxiety, you should understand the difference between small mood fluctuations and clinical depression, because clinical depression, you have to get professional help. So what are the signs of clinical depression? If for more than 2 weeks, if your child is having low mood, usually it won't present as, they won't say I'm feeling low. They will be irritable always. Okay, this is the common manifestation in children. They will be always irritable, okay, compared to what they were. Loss of interest in routine activities like playing with a sibling or fun activities. They have lost interest. Always lying down, tiredness, excessive sleep or decreased sleep, excessive eating or reduced eating. All these negative thoughts they express. I'll tell you what all the negative thoughts in depression or suicidal thinking. They are asking about after death, what will you do? Those kind of questions, kind of inquire about their mood and their well-being. Okay, so when these symptoms are there most of the time for 2 weeks, then it is called clinical depression, and that needs professional help. So routine mood fluctuation, especially, it is very common in adolescents, that can be managed. But in case of clinical depression, that needs professional help. So how do we tackle these mood fluctuations? These are the 3 A's. Okay, accept, activate, and analyze. Okay, analyze we have already seen in anxiety. Anyway, I'll tell it again. Acceptance is like what parents should do if the teen or a children is coming out with some depressive symptoms. I'm upset because of these things. Without us knowing, what we do is, for this issue, like, you are depressed, come on, grow up. Okay, these kind of statements we will make. Okay, so we should not do that. Whatever the trivial issue is, they are having the mood fluctuations or depressive symptoms, you should acknowledge it. Just by acknowledging and telling them, okay, I have been through all these things when I was young, so don't worry, I am there for you. If you just give a tap, they will improve nicely. Okay, if you don't accept, next time they won't tell you, and their depression will increase. Okay, this is acceptance is the first thing. Whatever trivial issue, accept their feelings. Okay, second, activate. In anxiety, I was talking about relaxation exercise to calm down. In depression, you have to tell them to activate themselves. Like, how do they activate? Physical exercise is a best activation exercise available. Even American Academy of Psychiatry, they have included physical exercise in the treatment of depression. Okay, mild depression, minimal depression, just do intense or moderate physical exercise for 1 hour. There's a chance that depression improves. Okay, so other than physical exercise, like having a bite of chocolate, but they might overdo, or talking with a friend, or playing a family game, like different, or drawing, arts, crafts, etc. These are all activation exercises available. So they should involve in all these activation procedures. They should not lie down always, because that worsens depression, and they should get themselves active by doing one of these things, and then try to analyze thoughts. Okay, in like in anxiety, I was telling about catastrophe, like they will think of worst possible outcome. In depression, it is usually all pessimistic cognitions: hopeless, I don't have future; helpless, I don't have anybody; worthless, I'm not good for anything; guilt, because of me only these things are happening. Usually if you analyze this thought, it will give one of these four themes. Okay, so we have to again tell them to uh, analyze their thought. How will they analyze? First, listen, sit back and listen to their thought, and try to differentiate between a valid thought and a negative thought, and try to pick out negative thought and compare with facts. You have done these things, you have achieved these things in the past, so you are not worthless. Okay, we are there to support you. You are not helpless. Okay, and you will have a good future. That is hopeless. Okay, and the guilt, it is these things happened, it is not your fault. Okay, like that, compare it with facts and have alternative explanation. Okay, we have to keep doing this. It is like driving the car. Initially doing this will be a little difficult. Okay, we do not know where is accelerator, where is brake, etc. But if you start driving frequently, you will do all these thought analysis and reframing by yourself. Okay, they will start doing by themselves. But as in anxiety, we have to reward as well. Okay, the reward is very important, especially smaller children. Okay, this is the management of depression in children. Behavior problems. Okay, the other common complaint these days is lots of behavioral issues, especially in this lockdown and pandemic. So what are all the causes of behavioral problem? Okay, these are the causes. One is, it can be normal. For example, toddler. Okay, you naturally you can expect lots of behavioral issues. In adolescence, okay, you can see this behavioral problems increases in adolescence. Okay, so these are normal. Because it is normal, it doesn't mean we should not intervene. You have to remember these behavior fluctuations are normal, so we need not worry. We need not think they have a major psychiatric illness. But if the behavioral problems are part of developmental disorders, the child is having speech delay and having severe behavioral problem, the child is not walking and has behavioral problem, the child is very hyperactive all over the place. Okay, not sitting in a single place. Okay, the child is on the go in home as well as in school, and has lots of behavioral problem. Then these behavioral problems are as a result of developmental disorders, and that needs professional help. An emotional disorder, the child is actually quiet child, but suddenly for 2 or 3 weeks or a month, like child is having significant behavioral problem. Any sudden onset of behavioral problem, usually either it could be due to medical reasons, or it could be due to some emotional problems like depression or anxiety. Okay, that needs professional help. Any sudden onset behavioral problems. Temperament. Okay, this is something which we have to manage. Temperament is like we divide into easy child, slow to warm up, and difficult child. Okay, difficult children are always prone for behavioral problem, especially when they are facing tough situations. So in these children, we have to properly handle behavioral problems so that they don't learn it and keep using it, all these behavioral methods to get something. So the temperamentally difficult child, they encounter lots of behavioral problem, and that should be managed from the very early age. So once I say behavioral problem, what are all the common reasons for the behavioral problem? Okay, there are usually three common reasons. One is to get social attention. Second is to get tangible items. Third is to escape from the task. For example, you are talking with someone over phone, and the child has nothing to do, and the child started throwing tantrums. Then this is the function of the behavior, is to get your attention, nothing else. Okay, you have to attend the child and at least say no, don't do it. So that is why they are behaving badly. Second is to get tangible item. It is very straightforward. The child is asking for chocolate and you are denying it, and the child throws tantrums. And third is to escape from some task. For example, you are teaching the child, and after some time, the child has lost interest and started throwing tantrums. And here, the function is to escape from the task. So, how to manage? Common general thing I will tell you first. First, dissociate the problem from the child. Okay, what is this? You cannot call names. You are always a naughty child and you are always a troublemaker. Don't identify the child with the behavior. Try to separate. You are a good child, but this behavioral problems doesn't suit you, or this behavior doesn't suit you. Okay, so don't do it. This is like dissociating behavior and the child. Second is, if they have too many behavioral problems, divide and write it and handle one by one. If the child has 5 or 6 problem behaviors, don't take everything for correction. Okay. Third is differential reinforcement. What is that? You have to reward something and you have to ignore something. What should you reward? You have to reward alternative behavior. Okay. Instead of throwing tantrums for some chocolate, if the child is coming for negotiation, then you have to reward it. For example, and in even after negotiation, the child is throwing tantrums, then you have to ignore. Okay, this is differential reinforcement. Or here, what you can do is, instead you can start giving smaller children, you can give star for every 1 hour for absence of behavior. Once there is a behavior, you ignore the behavior and cut off star. Okay, in this way the differential reinforcement work. We should not, what we should not do, we should not nag, we should not punish. Okay, when I talk to my clients and tell them, like, don't punish the child, they'll say, I'm not punishing, I'm a very good parent, I advise him all the time. So that itself is wrong. Okay, we should not keep nagging them. For example, you want your child to be independent, but you won't allow, like, you tell him to study, you just go behind him and say, what you have studied, tell me that is okay. We don't give that space. Okay, somebody asked a question like whether the absence of me space, me time, will it affect them? Yes, it will affect them. If you are there for them all the time, they get bored at some point and they may develop some hatred towards you. So don't nag. Okay, so I'll be telling in the end like how to communicate. There I will address this topic again, but nagging and punishment for behavioral problem should not be done. For individual functions, like we go to the previous slide, I told you the 3 causes of behavioral problem. So how to manage specifically in case like you feel the behavior problems are for attention seeking, you have to completely ignore. You won't even say no, or because they know that they should not do it. Okay, but still they are doing to get your attention. So ignore. When you ignore, the problem will increase transiently, then only decrease. But continue to ignore. You are on the right track. Okay, second is tangible item. Okay, the child wants something. For example, you are going to a supermarket and child is picking everything and you say no, one child starts throwing a tantrum. Okay, here one thing is you can anticipate this and modify the triggers a little bit. So when you take him to the supermarket, you can tell him, please find me the bag of rice, please find me this particular oil, I will get you the favorite toy or a biscuit when you go out. Okay, you can modify the trigger a bit. If they are doing it, please reward them adequately. Again, they are picking everything, and what you should do, again, you can negotiate. Okay, you can negotiate, telling no, you take this one and you should not touch other items. This is negotiation. Negotiation fails and still they are picking everything and causing some problem there. You have to say a firm no, like slightly increase your tone, make eye contact, keep your body language stiff and say no. Still they are throwing tantrums. You bring them out, sit in a quiet place in that mall or supermarket, etc., and ignore their behavior. Tell them you won't approve. Only if you are quiet, I will take you to the supermarket. Otherwise, we are going home. Okay. Have this flexibility. Sometimes we are most often like we cannot handle the behavior because we do not have that flexibility. So be flexible in handling behavior. For example, for the sake of behavior, even if you have to come home and go to the shop some other time, do it. Okay. The behavioral modification is very important rather than getting few items from the shop. Okay. This is how we will manage behavioral problem. They are like demanding some tangible items. Third is escape from the task. For example, if you are teaching them, after every 15 minutes, the child is throwing tantrums to escape from the teaching session. So what you can do, you can identify the trigger. For example, the child is losing attention after few minutes. So reduce the teaching session into small timings. Okay, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Still, till grown up child, you can keep 20, 25 minutes and give them a break and ask them to come back and reward each successful completion of 25 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you keep. Okay, the reward has to be for coming in time and having good effort and staying till the 25 minutes is over, not for completing the task. Okay, so some children will make an honest effort, but they may not complete the task. If you punish for that, they will lose confidence. So don't do that. The reward for performance rather than completing the task. Again, if even after reducing the time and making all these rewards, they are not compliant. So they want to run away in 10 minutes. You have kept at least 15 minutes. They want to run away in 10 minutes, or they don't want to come. So what you have to do is, your study room should be very important. Okay, without any distraction. They should not have other things to engage. You keep them that 15 minutes. So anyway, if you are not studying, you have to be in the room for 15 minutes. I will also sit here. You don't have anything else to do, and only after 15 minutes you leave them. And the reward, the star will not be there, and whatever reward you going to give for with the star, they are going to lose out on that. Okay, but that 15 minutes they will be in the room without doing anything. So this is what you have to do for behavioral problems to escape from the task. So this is how you manage behavioral problems in children. Another time where you have lots of behavioral problems or behavioral issues are sibling rivalry. Okay, when there are more than one kid, there is lot of rivalry between them. It is very normal. It is common. Okay, some amount of sibling rivalry will be there in every household. But when it is severe, you think of all these four things. You have to treat them fairly. Without, you have to introspect. Without my knowledge, am I treating one person better than other? Okay, so that will reduce self confidence of children who are victimized. Second is, don't compare, never compare. Okay, see, the brother has got 95 and you are not getting it, so you sometimes you will do it to improve the competitive spirit, but that is not healthy at all. So don't compare. And sometimes when they fight, once in a while try to find out truth. Sometimes, like, you always give this verdict. Okay, you don't bring the fights to me. Okay, whatever you do, you have to sort out by yourself. If you keep doing, like, one child sometimes feel victimized. Okay, the other child will bully the quiet one. Okay, so once in a while try to find out the truth, what has happened and who's at fault, and make them accountable. Okay, and fourth is consequence. Like, you have to keep some zero rate behavior. Like, for example, if hitting, whatever happens, whatever the provocation, you should not hit, you should not throw things. Okay, make them accountable for all these zero rate behavior. If you follow all these simple techniques, even though the sibling rivalry is there, it will come down. Okay, this is about behavioral problems. Next set of questions: how can parents balance work and home, and can we involve them in housework? Can we make them self-reliant? And online classes and exams, how to cope? Again, balancing work and home in this time is very difficult, especially parents without support. If there is no grandparents, or they don't even have maid or nanny, it is difficult. Okay, there is no quick solution to this. One parent has to be there with children all the time, especially if they are small and they have lots of online classes. Adolescent children, they have their own problem. So this is difficult, but I'll try to give some solution for it. And can we involve them in housework? I'll be telling that. The first thing is routine. Okay, they should have a proper routine. Okay, without routine, it will be very chaotic. Okay, what all the things we should include in the routine? Gross motor, that is physical play. Fine motor, arts and craft works or drawing. Cognitive, school subjects and reading. Daily living skills. So this is where, like, you can give them all these housework. You have to give. Even the smaller children, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, you can give some housework. Depends on their capacity. Okay, definitely they should be involved in housework and they have to help you. Otherwise, in the situation, you will feel burdened and you will not be able to cope. And entertainment. Entertainment is next. I will be telling how much gadget you should give. But entertainment, apart from gadgets, you should also involve in family time. That is playing some board game, talking neutral things. Like, here, you should not advise. You talk in a fun-filled way and talk about neutral things and listen to them. Okay, these are the examples of play with them. Entertainment, like, you should focus. So balance all these things. Gross motor, for example, 1 to 2 hours per day. Fine motor, 1 hour per day. Cognitive, 3 hours per day. These are rough basic. You can increase or decrease as per child's interest. And daily living skill, at least 2 to 3 hours per day. and entertainment to be like 3 hours per day. Okay, so you divide. Okay, have a proper chart, and in case of smaller children, like you bring all these things in a chart, and for every successful completion of a routine, you reward them. Okay, if you have this habit of doing this in a week or fortnight, they will be able to manage their routine to some extent, and they will be also helpful to you. Okay, if you are chaotic, there is no organization at home, and you just get up and decide like what we should do for that day, then it is going to be problematic. And this how much media to be given? Less than 2 years, no, strict no, because this is a critical age of development. And if you give lots of media in this age, they may develop all these developmental disorders like speech delay, ADHD, etc. So less than 2 years, no. 2 to 5 hours, 1 hour per day, preferably in a divided timings. Okay, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, or 15 minutes 4 times like that. Okay, so 2 to 5 hours, this is the guidelines. More than 5 years, there is no set time guidelines. This is as per American Academy of Pediatrics guidelines. So after 5 years, there is no time limit, but it should be conditions given to the parents. There should be media free zone. Like there is strictly no media in bedroom or dining table. And we should monitor when you take them to a movie. Like you should watch whether it is U or A certification, and you should not take them to A certification movie. And you are buying them video games or you are buying them music CDs, you should monitor what is the content. And even when they use mobile, like encourage them to use it in a hall. And even like if you are aware of some spy software, you can even install it. Okay, so then nothing wrong in that. Okay, you should monitor. And modeling, two things. One is like you should have a good media model behavior. If you keep flipping your phone or be in the social network all the time, the child is going to see you and learn rather than listen to you. Okay, you will tell like don't use, but you will be using, so they see you and follow what you do rather than what you say. Second is co-tutoring. Like you should sit with the child and see what is what. Okay, if they are watching educational video, like preferably I encourage you to sit with the child and discuss pros and cons and etc etc. Okay, so the co-tutoring is also important. These are the media guidelines in children. In your routine, when you give this entertainment time, like you should follow all these instructions for TV time or mobile phone time. Okay, next is how can we make self-reliant for online classes, and how do we cope with exams? Okay, so one common thing parents complain is their attention. Okay, what is the reason for poor attention? If they are going to study in the hall, if they are going to study in the bedroom, if there are so much distractions, naturally the attention span is going to be less. So here you have to modify. The study room should be simple, preferably in a table chair, and whatever they want to study, just keep that in the room, and give breaks 25 minutes to half an hour, maximum 40 minutes. Don't encourage them to study beyond that, and give a small break and ask them to come back to studies. Okay, so this is how you have to set your study room so that the distractions will be less. Even during online classes for little grown up children, 7 years 8 years, they are attending alone, you can come and monitor. Okay, you need not be with them all the time. Smaller children, yes, you have to be with them. For little grown up children, where school tell them to they tell them like they can attend alone. For them, make the environment less distractible, and you can come in frequently and monitor. The second is to improve some interest in studies. This is PQRST method. Okay, this is recommended by American Psychological Association. Okay, if they are reading, especially older children and adolescents, so don't tell them to read blindly. Okay, have a preview. They will have a bird's eye view. Okay, quickly if they read a chapter, they can quickly read see what is there in the chapter. Then form questions. For exam going children, they can take important questions and read. Each heading will be converted into a question. Then they have to read. Here, reading means reading, self-recital, understanding, memorizing. Everything comes under reading. Before reading, they should have a bird's eye view of the chapter and form the question. Then read and form a summary. Okay, if they have a flow chart, or if they have a handwritten notes, or if they have a typed notes, when they read every day, it is easy for them to read during exam time or during revision time. Otherwise, if you don't have a summary, again you will be reading again and again. Okay, and test. every day, if you keep a small test, okay, for 3 or 4 questions from what they have read that day, then they will every day will be like exam. The quality of reading will be much better. So this is called PQRST method. Encourage them to read in this method so that their understanding, their memory, everything will be better with this method. Okay, so this is regarding children. Okay, we have seen how to handle anxiety, how to handle depression, how to handle behavioral problem. Then we saw about some tips regarding study methods. Okay, then I have a special slides on adolescents, how to handle and what to teach, because this is one of the common problem faced by parents nowadays. How to communicate with my teenager? My teenager is very emotional. How can I handle? Okay, one thing which we should teach for adolescents is emotional intelligence. So if they are having good emotional intelligence, then they won't have much mood fluctuation. This EQ is more important than IQ nowadays. Okay, even companies have started testing how socially they are adept. Okay, rather than what they know, because these companies they train them. Okay, but the social relationship and workplace relationship, they have to have that skill. Okay, so how to improve emotional intelligence? So these 5 headings, okay, self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-motivation. Self-awareness is like when I'm angry, I should be aware that I'm angry. Okay, this is self-awareness. Then only I can practice anger management technique. If I don't have awareness, I do not have, I will not practice anger management technique. Okay, the self-awareness, there is something called mindfulness meditation, where the same deep breathing I told you before, they can sit and do every morning for 20-25 minutes and focus only on breathing. Their thoughts will wander. Okay, they will think something which is happy, like they will be happy. They will think something which is which they don't like. They will be sad. Acknowledge the emotions, experience the emotions, and come back and focus on breathing. So if they do this every day, the awareness towards their emotions will increase. Okay. Also every day, every morning, like you keep a chart when they get up. Okay, be aware of your emotion. They have to tell themselves, I'm going to be aware about my own emotions. Okay, so if they identify that they are angry or anxious, they'll be easily able to regulate it. How to regulate? When they are anxious or angry, they have to do calming down exercise like deep breathing. When they are depressed, they have to do activation exercise. So this is regulation. And self motivation, here you have to talk with them a lot. You have to tell them lots of stories about famous personalities like Abdul Kalam or Sachin Tendulkar or Steve Jobs, etc. You tell them lots of stories and help them how they faced problem and overcame it. It is not that they are blessed with everything every time. They underwent so many problems and they came out successfully because they are tough, they are motivated. So these kind of stories are important. And also we should introduce the concept of delaying gratification. What is that? You always tell them your brain is little tricky. Always choose something which is going to give you immediate pleasure, which is not good for long run. So for example, if there is a snack and sofa and TV and there is homework, the children always prefer, even adults, us always prefer something which gives us immediate gratification. So introduce this concept. Your mind will tell you to do something which gives you enjoyment at that time, but you should not opt for it. So gradually introduce this concept and they will understand. This is regarding self. Regarding handling relationship with others, understanding others, like help the children to read others body language, because 70% of the communication are non-verbal communication. Okay, help them to read like what is the body language of others, what is the facial expression of others, and try to tune your argument accordingly so that you won't end up in trouble even with your conversation with your friends or teachers, etc. So most of them don't have this habit of looking at their body language and trying to understand what they think. Okay, they most commonly they will end up with lots of fight and other things due to this. Okay, so to teach them handling relationship. So teach them to focus on others positive as well, and help them to give genuine appreciation, even like gratitude. Okay, because mother will be working from 4 a.m. Okay, and they have to develop the habit of saying, "Wow, mom, like you have done a very good food." Okay, they have to give praise and they have to identify positives from the others and share concern then and there. So here, sharing concern, especially adolescents, we should teach them like don't keep everything in your mind, don't bottle it up and shout one fine day. You have to express then and there. This is what this XY method says. So if you don't like something, you clearly tell, in this type, in this behavior, I'm not very happy. The same method you should use to communicate with them as well. Okay, don't tell like you are lazy, you are always like that, you are stupid. Don't call names. Okay, you use this exercise method. This particular time, in this particular behavior, you are not very happy. If you are then and there, you communicate in a much polite way, the behavioral problems and their emotional handling will be much better with the adolescents. Okay, remember this mnemonic for communication: A for authoritative parenting, L for listen, M for model. Okay, we'll start from M. Okay, you have to be a good model. Okay, as I was telling for media guidelines, they will see you and learn rather than they will listen to you and learn. So be a good model. Okay, if you don't want them to shout or scream all the time, you should not do that. You don't want them to be adamant, you should not be adamant at the first place. Okay, so be a good model. Second, listen. Always listen. Don't keep advice for everything. Okay, keep your advice only for something which is like the drink. So don't keep giving advice for each and everything. Okay, if they tell you something, listen. Then only they will start telling you more. Third is authoritative parenting. There are 4 types of parenting. Authoritarian. It is like Hitler. In the extreme, permissive and neglectful parenting, totally giving it to them whatever they want. So these extremes are not good. Authoritative parenting is having good rapport with them. At the same time, when you're supposed to be firm, you be firm. Okay, don't be very emotional. So this is the parenting style which you should follow. Communication. I was telling about nagging some time back. Okay, if you want them to change, so don't keep nagging them. Don't keep advising them. What you should do is take a notebook, write. Okay, whatever you want them to change, you write in a notebook. After 4 or 5 days, you will have a list and pick up 1 or 2 important things from the list. When he or she is calm, take them for a walk and tell them like you are very good and you are doing well. I like you. But if these behavior, if you could change, I'll be very happy and you will also look very good. Okay, so this is how you have to communicate rather than telling everything every time. So this is you always remember calm when you communicate with especially adolescents. Thank you.